Chapter 4092. Mu Yun is dead? The crowd was stupefied when they heard Bunan. Such a strong cultivator had been killed by Bunan just like that? That Mu Yun really wanted to die. He wasn't as strong as Bunan, but he took the initiative to fight against him. He deserved to die. Indeed, he deserved it. That's what happens when you overestimate yourself. Some people were talking loudly. They were obviously trying to curry favor with Bunan. Mu Yun. Ling Yuwei tightly gripped the bow in her hand as she stared at the huge pit. Even though she knew that Lu Ming had a goal, she still couldn't help but worry when she saw that. In the sky, Dong Yuanqing and the demon cultivator shook their heads. They felt it was a pity. But they didn't know why, but deep in their hearts, they sighed with relief. Lu Ming was too strong. He only had the strength of the fourth godly emperor layer, but he was already so strong. It was unimaginable. They felt a lot of pressure from him. Lu Ming's cultivation level was only 2 layers lower than theirs. If Lu Ming's cultivation level caught up with theirs, he would surpass them sooner or later. If they could survive this ordeal, Lu Ming would become their strongest competitor in the future. At that moment, Lu Ming had died at Bunan's hands. They would have one less enemy. Anyway, even though Mu Yun's fighting strength is not bad, he won't be able to help us in the battle against the evil demons. If the Heavenly Palace wants to win, they still need the good fortune of the land of creation. The demon genius thought to himself. However, at the next moment, his eyes widened in shock as he stared at the huge pit that Lu Ming had created. Because at that moment, a powerful qi had suddenly emerged from the crater. As soon as that qi appeared, it started rising rapidly. Very quickly, it reached the top of the fourth godly emperor layer. Then, boom! An even more terrifying qi emerged. It broke through the limit of the fourth godly emperor layer and reached the fifth godly emperor layer. He had broken through. At this moment, these 3 words automatically popped up in everyone's minds. Lu Ming had actually broken through. Just now, everyone still thought that Lu Ming was killed by Bunan's ultimate move and had already thoroughly perished. They did not expect that not only did Lu Ming not perish, he broke through instead. What was going on? He was severely injured, but not only was he fine, he even managed to make a breakthrough in his cultivation. What kind of monster was this? Many people felt as if their brains had been blown away. Brennan's eyes were red. They were blood red. That was the result of his anger. The murderous intent on his body became even more intense, and his face was completely distorted. Could it be that not only did his strongest move fail to kill Lu Ming, it had instead become Lu Ming's assistance and helped him break through? Unbearable. Unbearable. Brennan felt that he was about to be ignited by anger and jealousy. You want to break through? Impossible. Die. Die. You bastard. Die. Bunan roared crazily like a mad beast. Swish. He attacked with all his might, his palm slashing towards the huge pit. Immediately, the angel sword in the hand of the phantom of the Angel King also slashed down towards the huge pit. This sword strike was made by Bunan in a fit of rage, and its power was extremely powerful. He wanted to kill Lu Ming completely before Lu Ming had completely broken through. At this moment, he no longer cared about the great battle with the demons. At this moment, there was only one goal in his heart, and that was to kill Lu Ming. If he didn't kill Lu Ming, this matter would become his inner demon, forever following him and obstructing his future cultivation. Bunan, stop! Ling Yue roared and shot out an arrow with all her might. An arrow pierced through the air at an astonishing speed and hit the angel sword of the phantom of the Angel King. With a boom, Ling Yue's arrow exploded. However, the phantom of the Angel King's divine sword continued to slash down. There was still a huge gap between Ling Yue's battle strength and Bunan's. Although she had offset the power of the divine sword, she couldn't completely block the attack of the divine sword. The gigantic angelic divine sword continued to slash at the huge pit where Lu Ming was. With a loud bang, it slashed at the huge pit. A huge crack appeared on the ground, and the crack spread rapidly into the distance. But at that moment, a dazzling fist energy soared into the sky from the huge pit and hit the angel sword. With an earth-shattering explosion, the fist energy and the angel sword both dissipated. A moment later, a figure rose from the huge pit and stood in the air. His entire body was enveloped by a dazzling multicolored light. He looked extraordinary. The person in the multicolored light was naturally Lu Ming. In the battle with Bunan, Lu Ming had finally stimulated his potential and broken through the bottleneck in one fell swoop. His cultivation had reached the 5th layer of the godly emperor layer, and his battle strength had greatly increased. I didn't have enough fun just now. Now, I'll fight with you again. Lu Ming stepped out. With every step he took, there was a roaring sound in the void. After a few steps, he was already close to Bunan. Boom! A fist blasted towards Bunan. The violent fist energy pierced through the void and crushed towards Bunan. Its power was extremely strong. The might of this punch made Bunan's entire body tense up, giving him a strong sense of crisis. Slash! Shouted Bunan. The phantom of the Angel King's divine sword slashed towards Lu Ming. Boom! An earth-shattering explosion spread in the air. This time, Lu Ming didn't move at all. However, the angel sword was shaking violently. It seemed like its light had dimmed. Bunan's body shook violently. He couldn't help but take a few steps back. How is that possible? Shouted Bunan in disbelief. That's all you've got? I'll suppress you. Shouted Lu Ming as he punched with both fists. His fists contained the power of various secret arts, including the power of the great god wind art and the great shattering art. Bunan roared. He controlled the phantom of the Angel King to fight against Lu Ming with all his strength. Boom! 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 Rumbling sounds echoed in the air. In an instant, there were 10 rumbling sounds. Finally, there was a loud bang. The angel sword in the phantom of the Angel King exploded. Lu Ming rushed over and attacked with all his might. He pierced through the head of the Angel King. Then, the phantom of the Angel King exploded. When the phantom of the Angel King exploded, Bunan suffered a backlash. He screamed and coughed up blood. His body was sent flying. Swish! Lu Ming followed up and punched Bunan's face. Bunan screamed in pain. His body fell heavily on the ground, creating a huge pit that was bigger than the one Lu Ming had created. Bunan was lying in the huge pit, vomiting blood. His body was twitching, and his face was swollen like a pig's head. Lu Ming stepped out and was about to fall into the huge pit. His eyes were filled with killing intent. Mu Yun, stop! How dare you! The other angels shouted. However, when they saw Lu Ming's cold gaze, they trembled in fear. They didn't dare to step forward. Chapter 4093. Mu Yun, please be merciful. At this time, Dong Yuanqing shouted. That's right, we still have to fight with the demons in the future. Bunan is an important battle force, please spare his life. The demon genius from the demon clan also tried to persuade him. Their eyes were also filled with shock. Today's scene was truly out of their expectations. Now they finally understood why Lu Ming suddenly attacked Bunan. It was probably because Lu Ming himself felt that he was about to break through, so he attacked Lu Ming's opponent and used Bunan's pressure to help him break through. Many peerless monsters had such an experience. For example, they had done such a thing before. However, that was when their cultivation was still relatively low. Ever since they stepped into the Divine Lord realm, it was very difficult. The higher the cultivation, the harder it was to break through. Not to mention the Divine Emperor realm. And Lu Ming, at the Divine Emperor realm, was actually able to borrow the pressure of the other party to break through. It was truly shocking. Once he broke through, he completely reversed the situation and suppressed Bunan, revealing a terrifying battle strength. This kind of battle strength had already surpassed theirs. Therefore, they had no choice but to be cautious with their tone towards Lu Ming. It's fine if you want me to let him go. Beg for mercy and apologize. Lu Ming looked coldly at Bunan below. The first time he met Bunan, the other party wanted to make a move on him and even wanted him to kneel down and apologize to Gabbert. He wanted to use the Dream Jade to record it. If not for Lu Ming's strength being strong enough and Ling Yue's help, and Bunan himself being worried that the battle would attract demons, things would not have ended so easily. Lu Ming was not such an easy person to talk to. If there was a chance, he would naturally take revenge. You want me to apologize? Impossible. Bunan roared, his face incomparably ferocious. Who was he? He was a peerless genius of the Angel clan, a 12-winged angel, a candidate for the Universe Genius list. In the Angel clan, his talent was not inferior to Gabbert's. If it weren't for the fact that he was younger than Gabbert and had a huge gap in cultivation, his status wouldn't be any lower than Gabbert's. With his status, being defeated by Lu Ming was already a great humiliation. Now, he had to apologize to Lu Ming. How was that possible? What did he do wrong? Impossible? Alright, since you have the guts and aren't afraid of death, I'll fulfill your wish. Lu Ming coldly spoke. He clenched his fist in the air as a devil sword materialized. His killing intent was as cold as ice. How dare you, Mu Yun? I am a 12-winged angel of the angel race. I am the pillar of the angel race. If you dare to kill me, you are courting death. The angel race will never let you off. Bunan roared. He was certain that Lu Ming would not dare to kill him. The other angels were still fine, but 12-winged angels were not to be underestimated. They were extremely rare, and every single one of them would be extraordinary when they grew up. A 12-winged angel had the chance to break through to the Almighty Realm. Once they broke through to the Almighty Realm, they would be the top experts in the universe. They were extremely important to a large race. Many of the powerful races on the primitive 10,000 races list didn't have any Almighty Realm existences. Once a race produced a Almighty Realm existence, the race's status in the primitive universe would skyrocket. The weight of their words in the heavenly palace would also increase. Being able to obtain a huge amount of resources for the race was crucial to the development of the race. This showed the importance of a Almighty Realm expert. At the same time, it also showed the importance of someone who had the chance to break through to the Almighty Realm. The angel race would definitely seek revenge if such an important person was killed by Lu Ming. Therefore, Bunan had nothing to fear. In fact, many people present also thought so. They thought that Lu Ming wouldn't dare to kill Bunan. We'll talk about the future later. If you don't apologize now, I'll feel uncomfortable. This is more important. Lu Ming's face revealed a sinister expression. He smiled sinisterly and pounced on Bunan like a bolt of lightning. The devil sword in his hand whistled as it slashed out. Splat! Blood splattered 30 feet away. When Lu Ming charged out of the crater again, he had a head in his hand. It was Bunan's head. No! No, no, this time, Bunan really screamed in terror. Bunan wasn't dead yet. A person like him wouldn't die after his head was cut off. He was only heavily injured. No? Didn't you say that I wouldn't dare to kill you? Lu Ming's voice grew colder. He held Bunan's head in his hand. If he exerted a little force, Bunan's head would explode. The soul residing inside would also be annihilated instantly. Bu Nan was almost scared to death. From Lu Ming's voice and Lu Ming's expression, he could feel that Lu Ming really dared to kill him. This was a crazy person. He was capable of doing anything. He had a feeling that if he continued to be stubborn, Lu Ming wouldn't hesitate to shatter his head. Around them, the others also looked at each other. They saw the horror in each other's eyes. They didn't expect Lu Ming to be so bold. He even dared to kill a 12-winged angel of the angel race. Many people's fear of Lu Ming deepened. "Okay, I apologize. I admit my mistake." Bu Nan roared. In the end, he chose to submit. "What did you do wrong?" Lu Ming said lightly. "I shouldn't have interfered in the matter between you and Gabbert. I shouldn't have been so arrogant. If I meet you in the future, I'll take the initiative to avoid you." Bu Nan roared. In order to survive, he was ready to risk everything. "Humph, I'll spare your life this time." Lu Ming snorted. With a wave of his hand, Bu Nan's head flew out. It flew to his body and connected with his neck. It quickly stuck together. Huff! Huff! Bu Nan gasped for breath. His face was pale and his eyes were filled with fear. The reason why Lu Ming didn't kill Bu Nan wasn't because he didn't dare. He was indeed a little afraid of the angel race, but not to the extent that he didn't dare. The main reason was that the battle with the demons wasn't over yet. He still needed Bu Nan. Bu Nan, Dong Yuanqing, and Dong Yuanqing had practiced their joint attack for many days. It was a great help at a critical moment. Because even though Lu Ming's cultivation had broken through to the fifth godly emperor realm, he was afraid that he wouldn't be able to defeat Eugene alone. He needed the help of others. Taking this into account, Lu Ming spared Bu Nan's life. "Everyone, the demons have already set off for a long time. There's no time to lose. We should set off now. If we're late, the demons will take away both maps. Then, we won't be able to reverse the situation," Lu Ming said. His voice spread throughout the entire area. "That's right. It's time to set off. Now that Brother Mu's cultivation has broken through and his fighting strength has increased greatly, it's the luck of the heavenly palace," Dong Yuanqing said. When they heard Dong Yuanqing, many people's faces were filled with joy. Indeed, Lu Ming's fighting strength had increased greatly. He could even defeat Bu Nan. It could be said that he was the strongest cultivator in the heavenly palace. It was a good thing for everyone. Chapter 4094. Soon, everyone made a final decision. They would set off immediately to fight for the map with the demons in front of the black and white light pillars. At the very least, they had to get the map of the heavenly palace. Only then would they have a chance of winning. After making up their minds, they did not hesitate and set off immediately. They left the area and rushed toward the black and white light pillars. Bu Nan was also recovering from his injuries with the help of the other two prodigies of the angel race. Although his injuries were quite serious, Lu Ming knew how to control his strength. They were all superficial wounds and did not hurt his core. Therefore, he recovered quickly. It would not be long before he recovered to his peak. They were very fast. The black and white light pillars were getting clearer and clearer. The sky was covered by the black and white light. Even on the other side of the planet, they would be able to see it. It was conceivable that it would not be long before all the prodigies and demons of the heavenly palace who were participating in the battle arrived here. They were not far away from the black and white light pillars. Soon, they were close. Along the way, they did not encounter a single demon. That is, suddenly, everyone was shocked. They could not help but widen their eyes and look ahead. In front of them, there was a huge mountain that stood between heaven and earth. The mountain was extremely majestic. It pierced through the clouds and occupied a very large area. At the top of the mountain, 2 black and white light pillars were entangled and shot into the sky. What surprised them was that this mountain did not exist before. Otherwise, it would have been found long ago. This mountain must have been hidden before. It would only appear when the 2 sides were almost done killing each other. Kill! Rumble! Violent roars and battle cries could be heard from the mountain peak. They looked from afar and saw a large number of demons rushing toward the top of the mountain. However, they were blocked. On the mountain peak, there were many monsters condensed from rocks. They were constantly attacking the demons. The battle above was very fierce. Seeing this, everyone in the heavenly palace heaved a sigh of relief. This meant that the demons had not gotten the map yet. It seemed that it would not be easy to get the map. This mountain peak was blocked by monsters condensed from rocks. If they wanted to rush to the top of the mountain and get the map, they would have to defeat these rock monsters. What should we do? Someone asked. Many people couldn't help but look at Lu Ming. Lu Ming's current combat strength was already the strongest in the heavenly palace. Unknowingly, his position in the hearts of the people had risen a lot. If they had any opinions, the first thing they thought of was Lu Ming. They wanted to know Lu Ming's opinion. We're not in a hurry now. It won't be that easy for the demons to rush to the top of the mountain. Now, the people from the other half of this temporary planet are probably also rushing here. Let's hide and wait here. When the other people from the heavenly palace arrive, we'll stop them and meet up with them. When the last demon is about to reach the top of the mountain, we'll attack and take the map in one fell swoop. Lu Ming voiced his thoughts. Good idea. Everyone nodded in agreement. Indeed, given the current situation, this was the best solution. They could meet up with the others from the heavenly palace to increase their strength. And when the demons rushed to the top of the mountain and fought with the rock monsters, their strength would be weakened. Although as time passed, other demons would come and meet up with Eugene and the others, which would increase the demon's strength. Overall, for the heavenly palace, the advantages outweighed the disadvantages. I'll set up a concealment formation, Dong Yuanqing said. Then, he began to move. His figure flickered on the ground. With every move he made, densely packed runes would spread out and enter the ground, disappearing without a trace. Of course, Dong Yuanqing couldn't emit runes from every pore on his body like Dandan. But his attainment in rune formations was amazing. Among the younger generation, Lu Ming was second only to Dandan in terms of rune formations. Not long after, an illusory formation was successfully set up. As long as they were in the illusory formation, the demons wouldn't be able to find them. Then, they sent people out to ambush nearby. As long as they saw the people from the heavenly palace coming, they would stop them and bring them here. After everything was set up, they waited quietly. Lu Ming and the others continued to look at the mountain from afar. The demons and the rock monsters on the mountain were still fighting fiercely. It was obvious that Eugene was at the forefront of the demons. The demonic blade in his hand was extremely powerful. Following closely behind Eugene were a few demons who weren't weaker than Dong Yuanqing and Bunan. Luo Shi was among them. However, the rock monsters on the mountain were also very strong. They seemed to have been refined by a master. Their bodies were as hard as divine weapons. Even the strongest Eugene had to slash a rock monster several times to cut it open. So, it wouldn't be easy for the demons to reach the mountain and get the map. This made Lu Ming and the others feel more at ease. They had enough time to wait. Time passed quickly. After a while, Lu Ming and the others finally saw the first batch of reinforcements. A top demon from the Battle Saint tribe, who was also a 6th-level godly emperor, had arrived. He could fight opponents 4 levels higher than him. He was also a candidate for the Universe Prodigy list. There were more than 10 people with him. They came from the other side of the planet. When this person came, he immediately greeted battle god Yuanwen. Although this person was talented, he was still lacking compared to battle god Yuanwen. His status in the Battle Saint tribe wasn't as high as battle god Yuanwen's. "How's the situation in your area?" Battle god Yuanwen asked. The other party explained. Previously, Eugene had led a group of demons and wiped out half of the planet. There was still half of the planet left. The demons on that half of the planet and the geniuses from the Heavenly Palace were in a chaotic battle. There weren't any strong demons that broke the balance. Both sides had suffered losses and victories. It wasn't a one-sided battle. Then, they saw the black and white light pillars covering the sky. They knew that the map of the Land of Fortune had appeared, so they hurried over. Then, battle god Yuanwen explained the situation here. The other party's expression was very serious. Obviously, he didn't expect that there would be a strong demon like Eugene. Later, as time passed, more and more experts from the Heavenly Palace came to gather. 2 days later, there were already more than 800 people who came to gather. Among them, there were 3 more geniuses who weren't weaker than Bunan and Dong Yuanqing. These 3 were the 3 strongest people on the other half of the planet. Chapter 4095. The Heavenly Palace had 3 more top-notch geniuses and nearly 800 people. Their combat strength had increased tremendously. However, the evil demons had also gained many experts. Their numbers had doubled. Among them, there was no lack of evil demons at Luo Shi's level. With the addition of a large number of evil demons, their speed was even faster. After 2 days, they were about to reach the peak of the mountain. Obviously, the map of the Land of Creation was at the peak of the mountain. "We can set off now." Lu Ming was the first to speak. This caused some people to be dissatisfied. These people were naturally those who had joined later, especially the few top-notch geniuses. Who was Lu Ming to be the first to speak as if he was giving orders? This made them very unhappy. What right did Lu Ming have? However, to their surprise, Dong Yuanqing and the others did not seem to have any objections. They all nodded in unison. They were quite puzzled. Dong Yuanqing and the others seemed to be listening to Lu Ming's opinion. Was there a mistake? However, this was not the time to argue. They suppressed the doubts in their hearts and prepared to set off. "Let's go!" Lu Ming shouted in a low voice and took the lead to rush out. The others followed closely behind. They turned into streaks of rainbow light and flew toward the majestic mountain peak. With so many people moving together, the momentum was very shocking. They were immediately discovered by the evil demons. Clang! Clang! On the mountain peak, Eugene slashed a rock monster in half with 2 consecutive slashes. He looked coldly at Lu Ming and the others. These people from the Heavenly Palace still dare to fight for the map. They are courting death. You guys take some people to stop the people from the Heavenly Palace. I will kill them after I get the map. Eugene said coldly. Don't worry. You don't have to do anything. These people from the Heavenly Palace are dead meat. Luo Shi smiled ferociously. His fierce eyes were already fixed on Lu Ming. This was the second time. Lu Ming had managed to escape twice. As someone whose combat strength was lower than his, this was the first time that he had escaped from his hands twice in a row. His desire to kill Lu Ming was extremely strong. Not more than 3 times. He swore that there would not be a 3rd time. This time, he was going to twist Lu Ming's head off. About half of the evil demons turned and rushed down the mountain toward the people from the Heavenly Palace. Among them, there were 7 top-notch geniuses like Luo Shi. As for Eugene, he continued to kill the rock monsters and climbed up the mountain peak. Kill! Kill these scum from the Heavenly Palace! Calm. In the next moment, the two sides clashed. Lu Ming. On the other side, Luo Shi stared at Lu Ming all the time. At this moment, he stretched out his claws and crushed the heads of two heavenly palace geniuses, one in each hand. The other geniuses from the heavenly palace did not dare to get close to Luo Shi at all. They kept a distance from him. Die, brat! Luo Shi roared ferociously. A pair of huge evil demon wings flapped. With a terrifying gust of wind and a whistling sound, he rushed toward Lu Ming. You're the one who's going to die. Lu Ming also rushed toward Luo Shi and threw out a punch. Watch me break your arm. Luo Shi roared. His evil demon claws grabbed at Lu Ming's arm. Boom! Lu Ming's fist collided with Luo Shi's evil demon claws. Crack! At the moment of collision, Luo Shi's evil demon claws shook violently. His fingers made the sound of bones breaking. His arm shook violently. Not only did Luo Shi's arm shake violently, but his body also shook violently and retreated violently. His ferocious face was full of astonishment and disbelief. He seemed to find it hard to believe that Lu Ming's strength had suddenly become so strong. It had only been a few days. How could Lu Ming's combat strength suddenly soar and even surpass his? In a battle between masters, the slightest difference could make a difference of 1,000 miles. A slight difference could determine life and death. Luo Shi had never expected that Lu Ming's combat strength would be so strong that it surpassed his. Therefore, he was stunned for a moment. This moment was enough to determine his life and death. Kill! Lu Ming shouted. His fists bombarded the void continuously, turning it into a hornet's nest. With Luo Shi's combat strength, if he resisted with all his strength, he might be able to resist for a while. But now that he was stunned, his result was doomed. Bang! Puff! Flesh and blood splattered. Luo Shi's burly body was directly penetrated by Lu Ming's fist force and was smashed into pieces. His head was also turned into minced meat under Lu Ming's fist force. A top genius of the evil demon was killed directly. The surrounding evil demons were stupefied. That scene was completely beyond their expectations. They hadn't thought that a strong evil demon who was second only to Eugene would be killed so easily. Boom! After killing Luo Shi, Lu Ming didn't stop. He used his full strength. His entire body was covered in dazzling lights. He looked like a planet as he dashed towards a group of evil demons. Bang! 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 Those evil demons couldn't withstand a single blow from Lu Ming. Lu Ming dashed forward and those evil demons exploded like balloons. Flesh and blood splattered everywhere. Lu Ming grabbed the drops of evil demon's spirit blood and put them away. Lu Ming dashed forward, leaving behind a trail of blood and flesh. At least dozens of demon prodigies died in his hands. Then, Lu Ming dashed to the front of another top demon prodigy. That evil demon was also a cultivator of the 6th godly emperor layer. He could fight cultivators who were 4 cultivation levels higher than him. He wasn't any weaker than Luo Shi. Evil demon roar! Shouted that evil demon. A terrifying destructive strength emerged from his mouth and moved towards Lu Ming. Boom! Lu Ming struck with all his might. His fist penetrated the destructive force. His body dashed forward and the fist force blasted toward the person like a meteor. Die! Shouted that evil demon furiously. He used his full strength to resist. However, even if he used his full strength, he couldn't compete with Lu Ming. Lu Ming, who had reached the 5th level of the God Emperor realm, was already half a level higher than Luo Shi or the demon in front of him. It was like when Lu Ming had broken through to the 4th godly emperor layer and fought against Sa Dao. In terms of fighting strength, he was much stronger than Luo Shi. Even though the evil demon could resist for a while, he couldn't compete with Luo Shi. After a dozen attacks, the evil demon gave horrible shrieks and was blown away. His chest had been pierced by Lu Ming's punches. He was severely injured. Die. Lu Ming did not give the other party a chance to catch his breath at all. He stepped into the void and chased after him. More than 10 demon swords slashed toward his head and face. At the same time, the destructive fist force formed by the great divine wind skill and the great shattering skill bombarded him. That evil demon shouted furiously and tried to fight back, but it was useless. The next moment, his body was torn into pieces and Lu Ming grabbed the evil demon's spirit blood. Yet another top demon genius was slain. Chapter 4096. Lu Ming killed 2 top-notch demons in a row. He did it in an instant. His speed was too fast. At that moment, Eugene finally came back to his senses. He pulled a long face. "You want to die?" shouted Eugene furiously. He gave up on attacking the top of the mountain and turned around to attack Lu Ming. However, there was still some distance between him and Lu Ming. Lu Ming didn't stop. He continued attacking other demons. This time, Lu Ming didn't attack the strongest demons because they could resist Lu Ming for a while. If they saw Lu Ming coming, they would try to escape. It would be very difficult to kill them before Eugene arrived. Therefore, Lu Ming charged toward the demons who had weaker combat abilities but were extremely talented. For example, Sa Dao was one of them. They had the strength of the 5th godly emperor layer or lower, but they could fight cultivators 4 levels higher than them. Their cultivation level was a bit lower, but their potential wasn't any worse than Luo Shi's. Their blood was also very valuable. Even though there weren't many demons like that, there were still a few of them. Lu Ming threw himself at a demon with snow-white wings and threw a punch. When that demon saw Lu Ming coming, he was startled. He hastily retreated, but how could he be as fast as Lu Ming? The surging fist force surged towards the demon like raging waves, forming a crushing force. Facing that fist strength, it was like an ordinary person facing a tsunami. He couldn't escape. Either he would be swept away by the fist strength, or he would be destroyed by it. The devil chosen howled in rage. Flapping his devil wings, he brought forth a berserk energy that was bone-piercing cold, as though it wanted to freeze everything in its path. Actually, the space around him was frozen. He wanted to block Lu Ming's fist strength. Unfortunately, the difference between their fighting strength was too great. It was all in vain. Lin Feng's fist strength crushed everything, and the frozen space broke like a crystal. Then, the fist strength bombarded the demon's body. With a bang, the demon exploded. A drop of demon blood flew out and Lu Ming caught it in his hand. He had obtained another drop of demon blood. He could fight cultivators 4 levels higher than him. He was like a genius of the universe. Such people had unlimited potential. They had the opportunity to break through to the Demon King layer. They could exchange it for an incredible amount of merit points. Lu Ming had already obtained 5 drops of demon blood of that level. In the past, Seimo Luo's demon blood was worth 60,000 merit points. That kind of demon blood, which could fight cultivators 4 levels higher than him, was worth at least twice as much. Die! Roared furiously. At this moment, his eyes were blood-red and filled with intense murderous intent. The demonic saber in his hands slashed violently toward Lu Ming. The scorching aura even burned the space. The saber gleam cut through the air and slashed at Lu Ming's head. Demon sword! Lu Ming shouted. He used the great demon sword technique. With a wave of his hand, a huge demon sword formed and pressed down on Eugene's blade. At the same time, Lu Ming's body exploded with dazzling light. Lu Ming had used all his strength and punched out. A demon sword and a fist strength. One in front and one behind, they collided with Eugene's blade. The demon sword bore the brunt of the impact. It clashed with Eugene's blade. The demon sword shook violently. It lasted for 2 breaths of time before shattering. Then, the blade and the fist strength collided. An even more intense explosion rang out as the terrifying force shattered the void. Even existences at the level of Dong Yuanqing and Bunan turned grim in the face of such a shockwave. But in the end, Lu Ming's fist strength couldn't block Eugene's blade and was split apart. At the moment of collision, Lu Ming's figure retreated rapidly. Although he was hit by the remaining blade light, Lu Ming wasn't injured. He just retreated far away with the help of the force. Sure enough, Eugene's battle strength is still higher than mine. A thought flashed through Lu Ming's mind. Eugene's combat power was extremely terrifying. Every inch of his muscles was filled with terrifying power, especially his demonic saber. Its power was even more terrifying. At the Divine Emperor realm, he could fight someone who was 5 levels higher than him. He was almost on par with Lu Ming. Eugene's battle strength was no weaker than the fighting god Yuanwen's. His cultivation was 1 level higher than Lu Ming's. Naturally, Lu Ming was no match for him. However, Lu Ming didn't intend to fight Eugene head-on. He retreated and changed direction. He rushed to the top of the mountain. "You want to leave? Die!" Eugene roared and chased after Lu Ming. He remembered that Lu Ming had fought with Luo Shi last time. At that time, he was no match for Luo Shi. But in just a few days, Lu Ming could easily kill Luo Shi and even contend with him. This kind of person was too terrifying. Today, he must get rid of Lu Ming. However, he couldn't catch up with Lu Ming in a short time. Because this mountain was full of rock monsters. Although many of them had been killed by the devil, there were still many left, especially at the top of the mountain, where there were even more rock monsters. Lu Ming's figure flickered a few times and arrived at the mountainside. At this time, several rock monsters roared and rushed towards Lu Ming. These rock monsters were similar in structure to the rocks under his feet. But they had been condensed by the Lord's great divine ability. They became very solid and dense. At the same time, they were extremely hard, even harder than a divine weapon. Moreover, they had different appearances. Some looked like desolate beasts, some looked like humans, and some even looked like devils. Suddenly, 3 rock monsters charged towards Lu Ming and attacked Lu Ming's 3 vital points. Lu Ming used the Great Divine Wind technique. His body was always shrouded by a layer of divine wind. He didn't fight these rock monsters head-on. His figure flashed and seemed to produce phantoms. With a few flashes, he perfectly dodged the attacks of the 3 rock monsters. He appeared behind the 3 rock monsters and continued to rush towards the top of the mountain. The higher he went, the more rock monsters there were. However, Lu Ming relied on the great godly wind skill to evade the attacks of these rock monsters one by one. For those that he could not evade, Lu Ming waved his fist to block them. Very soon, he had left dozens of rock monsters behind him. He kept approaching the peak of the mountain. As for Eugene's movement technique, he wasn't as fast as Lu Ming. He relied on the devil saber in his hand. "Get lost!" Eugene roared. He kept slashing with his devil saber, flaying the rock monsters one by one. Swish! 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 One rock monster after another flew out like a rubber ball. Some even flew towards Lu Ming. Lu Ming had to focus on dodging. As a result, his speed was slower. Eugene attacked crazily. With this move, the distance between him and Lu Ming was slowly closing. Chapter 4097. Eugene used his violent combat power to send the rock monsters flying as he chased after Lu Ming. The distance between them was closing. However, When Lu Ming saw that the distance between them was closing, he immediately changed his direction and moved horizontally, increasing the distance between them again. Eugene chased after Lu Ming several times but was unable to catch up with him. He was furious, but he was not an ordinary person after all, so he quickly calmed down. "Humph, then I'll let this kid live for a while longer. As long as I get the 2 maps and obtain the creation left behind by the Demon Lord, then the Heavenly Palace will definitely lose. Even if I'm the only one left, I can still kill everyone from the Heavenly Palace." Thinking of this, a cold light flashed in Eugene's eyes. He stopped chasing after Lu Ming and continued to rush to the top of the mountain. To be honest, he did not care about the lives of the other demon prodigies. Even if they were all dead, he did not care. As long as he got the 2 maps, the people from the Heavenly Palace would not be able to obtain the creation. Once he obtained the creation, his combat power would be even more invincible. In that case, no matter what the Heavenly Palace did, they would not be able to stop him. He would hunt down the people from the Heavenly Palace all over the world. Sooner or later, he would kill everyone from the Heavenly Palace and obtain this victory. Therefore, the 2 maps were the key. He gave up on Lu Ming and rushed to the maps. Lu Ming's expression changed. Of course, he knew that the 2 maps were the key. If Eugene got the 2 maps, it would be useless even if he killed all the other demons. Therefore, Lu Ming also rushed to the top of the mountain from another direction. Eugene relied on his powerful strength to rush forward at an extremely fast speed. Lu Ming, on the other hand, was faster. Coupled with his combat power, he was not slower than Eugene in terms of speed. The 2 of them approached the top of the mountain from 2 different directions. At the bottom of the mountain, the demons and the Heavenly Palace were fighting fiercely. The battle was getting more and more intense. Originally, the demons had the upper hand in terms of both quantity and quality. Not to mention other things, the Heavenly Palace had fewer top-level combatants. However, after Lu Ming killed 2 of their top-level combatants, the Heavenly Palace had the upper hand in terms of top-level combatants. They had 1 more person than the demons. In this way, although the Heavenly Palace had fewer people, they were not at a disadvantage after a round of fighting. Instead, they had a slight advantage. During the battle, the demons and Heavenly Palace's prodigies were attracted to Eugene and Lu Ming. That guy wants to compete with Eugene for the token. He's courting death. Eugene will definitely be able to get both maps. The Heavenly Palace is doomed. Many demons. On the other hand, the people from the Heavenly Palace were secretly praying that Lu Ming would be able to snatch the map. At the very least, they had to snatch the map from the Heavenly Palace. Only then would they have hope. While they were fighting, they were also paying attention to the 2 figures who were rushing to the top of the mountain because these 2 people would affect the whole battle. Eugene and Lu Ming kept rushing to the top of the mountain. The closer they got to the top of the mountain, the more rock monsters there were. They were rushing towards them in groups. Swoosh, swoosh, Lu Ming pushed the great godly wind to the extreme. His body was like a ghost, like a breeze, as if he was weightless. He kept flashing and dodging the rock monsters. However, there were too many rock monsters and they were not afraid of death. There were bound to be some who could not be dodged. Roar! A rock monster, like a demon, waved its stone fist and attacked Lu Ming. Lu Ming threw out a punch and collided with the rock monster's fist. With a bang, the rock monster's body was sent flying, knocking down several rock monsters behind it. It's really hard. Lu Ming muttered to himself. With his current cultivation level, the power of his punch was astonishing. Even an ordinary cultivator of the 9th Godly Emperor layer would be smashed to pieces. But the rock monster was only sent flying. A few cracks appeared on its fist, but it did not explode. But that was enough. Lu Ming's silhouette flickered, he jumped over the rock monsters and continued moving forward. Just like that, Lu Ming used his incredible fighting strength and agility to reach the top of the mountain. But because there were too many rock monsters, it was not easy to reach the top of the mountain in a short time. Otherwise, the evil demon army would have been able to reach the top of the mountain in 2 days. After 2 hours, Lu Ming finally reached the top of the mountain. At this point, Lu Ming could already see the scenery at the top of the mountain clearly. There was nothing at the top of the mountain, there were only 2 round beads. The 2 round beads were the size of a fist. One was as black as ink, the other was as white as snow. The 2 round beads were next to each other and were emitting a resplendent light. The 2 intertwined beams of light, one black and one white, were emitted from the 2 beads. Those were the maps of the 2 places of good fortune. The black bead was the map of the evil demon army's place of good fortune. The white bead was the map of the heavenly palace's place of good fortune. Lu Ming's eyes were burning with passion, but then Lu Ming's expression suddenly changed. This was because he saw Eugene. Eugene was actually faster than him by a bit. "Piss off!" shouted Eugene. His blade dashed to the sky and a few terrifying blade shadows appeared. The last few rock monsters were sent flying. One of them was even cut in half. Swish! Without the rock monsters blocking him, Eugene flew towards the 2 round beads. "Oh no!" Lu Ming roared in his heart. He attacked with all his strength. Boom! 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 He threw a dozen punches at 7 or 8 rock monsters, causing them to stagger back. Lu Ming sped up at full speed. In a flash, he dashed past 7 to 8 rock monsters. However, his speed was still slower than Eugene's. Eugene's figure was already close to the 2 round beads. His eyes were shining with greed. "Both maps are mine. Victory will be mine in the end." Eugene roared in his heart. He stretched out a claw and grabbed at the 2 round beads. Just as he was about to grab the 2 round beads, the 2 round beads vibrated slightly. The black and white beams of light that were emitted also converged. An invisible force burst out of the 2 round beads as if to resist Eugene's claws. For a moment, Eugene's claws were blocked. Eugene's expression changed and he roared, "Break!" He used all of his strength to grab the demon claw. Buzz! The 2 round beads vibrated violently. The force seemed to be scattered. Following that, the 2 round beads actually flew out in 2 different directions with a swoosh. "Damn it!" Eugene roared. He flapped his demon wings and rushed towards the black round beads. Chapter 4098. Eugene was the first to rush towards the black bead. Before he even reached it, he had already clawed at the air. A huge demonic claw was formed and sealed off a part of the void, enveloping the black bead within. This time, the black bead could not escape. It was caught in Eugene's hand. At this moment, Lu Ming's eyes shone with excitement. He blasted away the last rock monster and rushed towards the white bead. The white bead was the map of the heavenly palace. Since Eugene had already obtained the black bead, he had to get the white bead. "You're courting death." Eugene's eyes flashed. He suddenly turned around and slashed at Lu Ming with his demonic saber. "I can't avoid it." Lu Ming had a resolute look on his face. He could avoid this saber radiance, but he could not. If he did, he would lose the initiative and the white bead would definitely be taken away by Eugene. "Block it." Lu Ming let out a low growl. Every cell in his body was trembling. He unleashed all his strength in an instant. Boom! A fist energy pierced through the void and met Eugene's saber radiance. The two collided for the second time. This time, Eugene hurriedly slashed with his saber and did not use his full strength. The two attacks collided in the void and were annihilated. However, Eugene's saber radiance was still stronger. A wisp of residual saber energy slashed Lu Ming's body. Lu Ming's body was pushed back several steps. A wound appeared on his body, almost splitting Lu Ming's body apart. However, Lu Ming was able to withstand it. Ignoring his injury, Lu Ming continued to rush towards the white bead. "Don't even think about it." Eugene roared and rushed towards the white bead with all his strength. He was very fast. Great binding technique. At this moment, Lu Ming shouted softly and used one of the 3,000 ancient mystic skills, the Great Binding Skill. An invisible force wrapped around Eugene like a python. The needle-like force pierced into Eugene's body, trying to lock him up. Eugene's body stiffened for a moment. That moment of rigidity was enough. Lu Ming grabbed it with all his might. One of his palms expanded rapidly, enveloping the white round bead and grabbing it. You're courting death." Eugene roared angrily. His whole body was like an erupting volcano. Demonic chi rushed out of every pore on his body. The power of the Great Binding Technique was quickly disintegrating. Sure enough, it can only trap him for a moment. Lu Ming sighed in his heart. He had wanted to kill Eugene, but it was obviously impossible. Although the other party was bound for an instant, every inch of the other party's body was filled with powerful energy. Even if he did not take the white bead and directly attack the other party, it would be difficult to kill the other party. Therefore, Lu Ming did not hesitate. He turned around and ran down the mountain. Boom! Eugene finally broke free from the shackles of the Great Binding Skill and charged toward Lu Ming. The two rushed down the mountain, one in front and one behind. "I've got the map. Retreat!" Lu Ming let out a long howl and his voice spread far and wide. The people from the Heavenly Palace were overjoyed. They did not have much hope. After all, Lu Ming was not as strong as Eugene. It would be difficult to get the map in front of Eugene. They did not expect Lu Ming to get the map. "Let's go. Retreat!" Some of the top fighters from the Heavenly Palace shouted. Then, they all retreated. The demons naturally did not want to let the people from the Heavenly Palace go. However, the Heavenly Palace had the upper hand in terms of the number of top fighters. Therefore, they retreated smoothly. All the geniuses from the Heavenly Palace gathered together and blocked the demons' attack with a wave of attacks. Then, they flew back. Lu Ming and Eugene, one in front and one behind, quickly arrived at the foot of the mountain. There was a strong pressure on the mountain, so they could not fly. However, there was no pressure at the foot of the mountain. Whoosh! Lu Ming rose into the sky and rushed in the direction where the geniuses from the Heavenly Palace had retreated. "Stop him!" Eugene shouted. He ordered the demons to stop Lu Ming. "Stop that kid! Stop him!" The other demons shouted and rushed toward Lu Ming. Lu Ming suddenly changed his direction and rushed to the right. There were fewer demons there. "Stay!" There was another top demon in the right front. He was not weaker than Luo Shi. He attacked Lu Ming with all his might. He wanted to stop Lu Ming. As long as Eugene arrived, Lu Ming would not be able to escape. "You're asking for it." Lu Ming's eyes turned cold. He punched out. Lu Ming's punch directly defeated the opponent's attack. Then, he used the Great Binding Spell. This top abyssal freak's body suddenly stiffened. His strength was far inferior to Eugene's. The Great Binding Spell could at least trap him for a few breaths of time. To elites like Lu Ming and the rest, a few breaths of time was considered very long. Boom! Lu Ming rushed past. The demon's body exploded. A drop of demon spirit blood was caught in Lu Ming's hand. However, this demon still managed to obstruct Lu Ming for a while. Eugene had already arrived and slashed out a ray of saber gleam. Lu Ming tried his best to dodge, but he could not completely avoid it. The blade light slashed his body. Lu Ming's body was directly split in half. If an ordinary person's body was split in half, even if they did not die, they would be seriously injured. It could even be said that they were dead. This was because the destructive power in the blade light could directly annihilate the soul in the sea of consciousness. However, there was no soul in Lu Ming's sea of consciousness. His soul was scattered to every cell in his body. As long as Lu Ming's cells were not annihilated, he would not die. Therefore, his body that was split in half did not stop at all. It continued to fly forward rapidly. In the process of flying, the two halves of his body automatically approached and stuck together. This monster, Eugene's heart trembled violently. He had a strong fear of Lu Ming. At the same time, his desire to kill Lu Ming was unprecedentedly strong. He flapped his demon wings frantically and chased after Lu Ming. Both of them were very fast. After Lu Ming used the Great God Wind technique, he was extremely agile and fast in a small area. He was even faster than Eugene. However, when flying in a straight line, Eugene's demon wings frantically flapped. He was not slower than Lu Ming. The two of them, one in front and one behind, quickly crossed a long distance. Soon, they were about to catch up with the geniuses of the Heavenly Palace. Quick, go to the west. I've set up a formation there. We'll be there soon. We can escape there. Dong Yuanqing shouted. The geniuses of the Heavenly Palace quickly flew to the west. At this time, they saw Lu Ming and Eugene. Their expressions changed. Chapter 4099. When the Sky Prides of the Heavenly Palace saw Eugene and Lu Ming chasing after them, their expressions changed. One of them was fearful of Eugene's strength, and the other was worried about Lu Ming. They were not worried about Lu Ming's life, but the map in Lu Ming's hands. The map could not fall into Eugene's hands, as it was their last hope for victory. We must protect the map. Yes, we must not let the map fall into the hands of the devil. Let's help Mu Yun restrain Eugene and find a chance to escape. Dong Yuanqing and the other strongest Sky Prides transmitted their voices. Bu Nan's face was gloomy. Although he was extremely unwilling to help Lu Ming, it was related to the victory of the Heavenly Palace and his own life. Hence, he had to help even if he was unwilling. Swoosh swoosh, a few figures flashed out. They were Dong Yuanqing, Bu Nan, and the monster from the devil race. The three of them had cultivated a joint attack technique. Working together, they could restrain Eugene to a certain extent. Although there were a few geniuses who were not weaker than them, they did not have a joint attack technique. They could not restrain Eugene, so they continued to lead the people of the Heavenly Palace to the array formation in the west. Kill! Dong Yuanqing and the other two shouted and performed the combined attack technique. The three of them formed a mysterious trajectory and flashed. A divine light burst out from the middle of the three of them and attacked Eugene. Eugene slashed out with his saber and destroyed the divine light, but his body was also blocked. You are courting death. When Eugene saw that the people from the Heavenly Palace dared to take the initiative to attack him, his murderous intent soared. He roared and activated his violent devilish chi and slashed out with his saber. This was Eugene's full-strength saber. Its power was extremely terrifying, and it was much stronger than the previous one. Dong Yuanqing and Bu Nan looked grave. In the face of Eugene's strongest attack, they did not dare to face it head-on. They could only passively defend. They performed the combined attack technique and formed an ancient tortoise shell. Eugene's saber light bombarded the tortoise shell and split it in half. However, Eugene's attack was blocked in the end. Boom! Eugene attacked with his blade, and there was a brief change in his aura. Lu Ming would not miss such an opportunity. He punched with all his strength, and the fist power roared out, crushing towards Eugene. Slash! Eugene roared and slashed at Lu Ming with his saber, splitting apart Lu Ming's fist energy. However, his body shook slightly and he took 2 steps back. "You're courting death!" Eugene roared furiously. The demonic aura seemed to have materialized. Just as he was about to slash at Lu Ming with all his might, Dong Yuanqing and the other 2 performed a joint attack. A beam of divine light blasted toward Eugene. This made Eugene furious. Regardless of whether it was Lu Ming or Dong Yuanqing and the other 2's combined attack, they were no match for him in a one-on-one battle. However, when the 2 of them joined forces, they were able to restrain him greatly. This was because he could not ignore the attacks from Lu Ming or Dong Yuanqing's group. If he did, it would cause him great harm. He had to concentrate on dealing with it. In this way, he could not concentrate on dealing with one side. He could only divide his strength and attack Lu Ming and Dong Yuanqing's group at the same time. If his strength was divided, he could not crush either side. Boom! Boom! Lu Ming successfully blocked Eugene's saber light. Although he took several steps back, it was not like before, where he would be seriously injured after blocking the attack. In this way, Lu Ming and Dong Yuanqing's group adopted a wandering method. When Eugene attacked, they mainly defended, and then took the opportunity to launch a counterattack. For a time, they actually managed to pin Eugene down. The others from the Heavenly Palace took the opportunity to distance themselves and disappeared in the west. Soon, Lu Ming and Dong Yuanqing's group had been in a stalemate with Eugene for more than 10 minutes. At this time, Lu Ming and Dong Yuanqing were secretly communicating with each other. They retreated to the west as they fought. Although they could pin down Dong Yuanqing, it was impossible for them to defeat him. Moreover, the longer the battle dragged on, the more disadvantageous it would be for them. This was because the combined attack of Dong Yuanqing and the other 2 consumed a lot of energy. The longer it dragged on, the weaker it would be. In the end, they would definitely not be a match for Eugene, and their combined attack would be broken. This was also because Lu Ming was holding Eugene back. Otherwise, Dong Yuanqing and the other 2 would not be able to hold Eugene back for so long. It was already good enough that they could hold him back for more than 10 moves. Damn it, all of you deserve to die. Eugene was extremely furious. The more he fought, the braver he became. His demonic saber slashed out, forcing Lu Ming, Dong Yuanqing, and the others to passively defend and retreat. The muscles all over his body bulged, and his body became more and more ferocious. What? Swish! Swish! They were like a few shooting stars, flying across the starry sky as they fought. After a while, we're here. The formation I set up is below. We can go there. Dong Yuanqing said. Lu Ming looked down and saw a stone forest below. This stone forest was the formation. Swoosh! Swoosh! At this time, 2 more saber lights slashed towards Lu Ming and Dong Yuanqing. Lu Ming waved his fists continuously. A terrifying attack gathered and finally formed a huge fist. It rushed out and collided with Eugene's saber light. With a loud bang, the fist that Lu Ming had condensed exploded. With the help of this force, Lu Ming's body fell toward the bottom of the stone forest. On the other side, Dong Yuanqing and the others had also formed a tortoise shell. Under the saber light, the tortoise shell exploded. They also borrowed the force to fall down the stone forest. In the stone forest, there was a formation within a formation. There was an escape formation hidden within the illusory formation. The people from the Heavenly Palace had obviously left through this formation. As soon as Lu Ming and the others landed, the formation was immediately activated and they successfully left. On the other hand, Eugene was furious. He bombarded the stone forest and destroyed it. However, he had already lost track of Lu Ming and the rest. Damn it! Eugene roared. After a while, he gradually calmed down. Now, I have to find the place of creation left by the Devil Lord as soon as possible. I'll get the creation inside and then kill everyone from the heavenly palace. Eugene whispered. The murderous intent in his eyes was almost tangible. Then, he took out the black ball and injected demonic chi. Buzz! Suddenly, the black ball vibrated. The surface of the ball glowed and some patterns appeared on it. These patterns were a map. Eugene's eyes flashed as he memorized these patterns. I've heard that the land of creation will be obstructed by the master-level experts of the heavenly palace. It's better to meet up with the others. Although those people are useless, they can still provide some help and save some energy. Eugene whispered a few times and then left to meet up with the other demons. They then followed the map to find the place of creation left by the Devil Lord. Chapter 4100. At this moment, Lu Ming and the rest had arrived at the place where they had been last time. Sure enough, the people from the heavenly palace were all here. When they saw Lu Ming and the rest appear, they immediately surrounded them and looked at Lu Ming with burning eyes. How is it? Did you keep the map? The demons didn't come after us, right? The crowd asked one after another. A white bead appeared in Lu Ming's hand. The crowd was silent at first, but then they all cheered. Even Dong Yuanqing and the rest were excited. They had the map. This was the map that led to the land of creation that the Divine Master of the Heavenly Palace had set up. As long as they had this map, they still had hope and a chance to defeat the demons. Otherwise, the demons had Eugene and they would only end up defeated. This time, they could not afford to lose because only death would await them if they failed. Let's take a look at the map. Where does it lead to? Someone said impatiently. Lu Ming did not say much. He looked at Dong Yuanqing and said, Brother Dong Yuanqing, here is the map. Take a look. With that, Lu Ming threw the white bead to Dong Yuanqing. Lu Ming was more or less cautious. This white bead was refined by the Divine Master of the Heavenly Palace. If he injected forbidden energy into it, he was afraid that the Divine Master would sense it afterward. Although this was not necessarily possible, he had to be cautious. Dong Yuanqing took the white bead in surprise, as if he was surprised that Lu Ming would give it to him. Please. Lu Ming smiled. Dong Yuanqing nodded and slowly injected his divine energy into the white bead. The white bead vibrated and then patterns appeared on its surface, similar to the black bead that the demons had. The map. Everyone's eyes lit up and focused on it, clearly recording the patterns on it. In a short while, they had recorded the map. There's no time to lose. Let's set off immediately. Otherwise, if the demons get their creation first, we'll be in trouble. Dong Yuanqing said. Everyone nodded their heads. Naturally, they had no objections. After the discussion, they left the place. Following the map's instructions, they headed north. The journey was not short, but there were no demons blocking the way. They flew at full speed and were still very fast. After a little more than a day, they arrived at a flat area. This planet was refined by the joint efforts of the lords. Everywhere was filled with protruding rocks. Flat areas were rare. According to the map, the target was here. Wang. At this moment, the white bead began to violently tremble. It began to emit a pure white light. Then, the white bead flew out of Dong Yuanqing's hand and rapidly grew in size. It sank into the ground and disappeared. Rumble. In the next moment, the ground shook violently. Retreat. Everyone retreated in shock. Kacha. Asterisk crack. Asterisk cracks appeared on the ground like a spider web, densely covering the entire ground. Then, the rocks on the ground exploded, and a huge monster emerged from the ground. It turned out that the land of creation was hidden underground. Dust and debris flew everywhere. After a while, when the dust and debris dissipated, everyone finally saw the appearance of the huge monster. It was actually a flight of stairs. The stairs were pure white. From the bottom to the top, there were 9 stairs. After the 9 stairs, there was a platform. On the platform, there was a ball of light floating. They could clearly see a set of armor in the light. It was a set of bronze armor. Everyone's eyes burned with passion. The armor was definitely a creation left behind by a Lord God. They looked up the platform and saw 9 more stairs. There was another platform above the 9 stairs. There was also a ball of light on the platform. There was another set of armor in the light. This set of armor was silver in color. It was a set of silver armor. That was the second platform. That was not the end. There was a third platform. There were 9 more stairs on the second platform. Above those 9 stairs was the third platform. There was also a ball of light on the third platform. There was another set of armor in the light. It was a set of golden armor. That was still not the end. There were 9 more stairs on the third platform. After that, there was a fourth platform. There was another set of armor on the fourth platform. The armor was purplish gold. That was finally the end. 4 flights of stairs, 4 platforms, 4 sets of armor. This was obviously a creation left behind by the Lord God of the heavenly palace. The higher the level of the armor. Charge. The creation is mine. Many people showed a burning light. Their bodies turned into rays of light and rushed toward the stairs. However, when they got close to the stairs, a large amount of demonic chi suddenly spread out around the stairs. The demonic chi covered the sky and the sun. A large number of demons walked out from the demonic chi. It's the demons. Did the demons set up an ambush here in advance? Many people shouted in shock. No, these demons are not real. They are not alive. They have no life aura. They are condensed from the demonic chi. Someone saw the situation. Yes, the Lord of the demons set up a defensive measure here. Someone said. Before they came in, they already knew that the master-level figures of the demons would set up defensive measures in the land of good fortune of the heavenly palace, and the master-level figures of the heavenly palace would set up defensive measures in the land of good fortune of the demons. How can we break through the defensive measures set up by the demons' lord? Someone shouted with a change of expression. Don't panic. The Lord of the demons will not go all out. If that is the case, there is no need to set up a land of creation for this competition. It must be within the range of what we can handle. The Lord God of the heavenly palace must have checked it. Someone said. Everyone was relieved. Thinking about it, the Lord of their side must have checked it. It was impossible that he would let them suffer. It could be guessed that the defensive measures of the 2 lands of creation should be about the same. Charge. After everyone's hearts calmed down, their courage increased greatly. With a loud shout, they all rushed in the direction of the stairs. Kill. The demons condensed from the demonic chi also roared. They waved all kinds of weapons and attacked the people of the heavenly palace. The 2 sides collided, and there was a violent explosion. However, at the moment of collision, some people died. Some of the weaker ones were directly killed by the demons. Oh no, these demons are so strong. Retreat, retreat quickly. Many people shouted and retreated frantically. Originally, there were more than 1,000 people on the heavenly palace's side. In an instant, at least 500 or 600 people retreated frantically and left the battlefield. There were still a few hundred people left. They continued to fight with all their might. Chapter 4101. The remaining few hundred people were very powerful. At the very least, they were able to contend with these evil demons condensed from devilish chi. But there were too many demons in the baleful demon chi. It wasn't easy to get to the top of the stairs. Only some of the stronger ones could continue to charge forward. Among the hundreds of people, Lu Ming's speed was undoubtedly the fastest. His entire body was shrouded in dazzling rays of light. Both of his fists were not punching out. Every time he punched out, a demon would explode and turn back into demonic aura. However, after those demons exploded and turned back into baleful demon chi, they condensed again and charged at Lu Ming. It seemed like there were too many demons to kill. But those demons couldn't stop Lu Ming. Lu Ming kept moving forwards, and the distance between him and the others increased. After a short time, Lu Ming successfully broke through the demon's encirclement and landed on the first flight of stairs. Initially, Lu Ming wanted to fly directly to the highest platform. However, a powerful force was suppressing him and he could not fly up at all. Lu Ming knew he was thinking too much. If he could fly to the top of the stairs, he wouldn't have needed those stairs. He landed on the bottom flight of stairs. When Lu Ming landed on the first step, the figure of a demon emerged from the top of the stairs. That demon immediately charged at Lu Ming. It wasn't weak, it had the strength of the 7th Godly Emperor layer. A 7th Godly Emperor layer cultivator was nothing in front of Lu Ming. He punched the demon and it exploded. Lu Ming took a step forward and landed on the second step. Immediately, more demons appeared. This time, there were 3 of them. 3 demons of the 7th Godly Emperor layer. But even if they had the strength of the 7th Godly Emperor layer, in front of Lu Ming, he could defeat them in one punch. With a single punch, the 3 demons were unable to put up any resistance and collapsed as well. Then, he landed on the 3rd flight of stairs. On the 3rd flight of stairs, 9 demons of the 7th Godly Emperor layer appeared. He punched them and they passed. On the 4th flight of stairs, a demon of the 8th Godly Emperor layer appeared. He also punched them and they died. On the 5th flight of stairs, the 6th flight of stairs. The further he went, the stronger the demons were. In the end, a demon of the 9th Godly Emperor layer appeared. Of course, it couldn't stop Lu Ming. Lu Ming quickly landed on the 1st flight of stairs. On the 1st flight of stairs, there was a bronze armor. It looked extraordinary. However, Lu Ming pondered for a while and decided not to take the armor. It was the 1st flight of stairs, the weakest one. Of course, he would take the strongest one. Lu Ming's target, the 1st flight of stairs, the 1st flight of stairs. At the very least, he had to get the golden armor. Only then would he have a chance of winning. Lu Ming continued to step forward and landed on the 1st armor on the 2nd flight of stairs. However, the 2nd flight of steps was completely different from the 1st flight of steps. On the 2nd flight of stairs, there were no demons. There was only pressure. A terrifying pressure pressed down on Lu Ming's body. However, even though the pressure was terrifying, it was still bearable for Lu Ming. Lu Ming's muscles trembled and he pushed the pressure away. He continued on the 2nd flight of stairs. On the 2nd flight of stairs, the pressure was even stronger. But it still couldn't do anything to Lu Ming. Bam! 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 Lu Ming went up one step at a time without slowing down. When he reached the last step, the strong pressure finally exerted some pressure on Lu Ming. However, the taboo force in Lu Ming's cells erupted. He broke through the external pressure and stepped onto the 2nd platform. At that moment, some other people arrived on the 1st flight of stairs. Dong Yuanqing, Bunan, they were the 6 strongest cultivators of the 6th Godly Emperor layer. They could fight cultivators 4 levels higher than them. The 6 of them were almost the same. They landed on the first flight of stairs at the same time. When they landed on the first flight of stairs, a demon condensed in front of them. They all had the strength of the 7th godly emperor layer. Naturally, such demons could not stop them. With a single attack, the demons in front of them were scattered. They were extremely fast. The demons on the first flight of stairs couldn't stop them. Very quickly, they arrived on the first flight of stairs. The gazes of the 6 people all landed on the bronze armor, and they started to hesitate. In the end, the 6 of them moved towards the second flight of stairs at the same time. Their goal was the armor on the first flight of stairs. There were 3 more pieces of armor on the first flight of stairs. They guessed that Lu Ming wouldn't choose the silver armor. So, they had a chance to get the silver armor. At that moment, Lu Ming started moving towards the 3rd flight of stairs. The silver armor wasn't Lu Ming's goal. When Lu Ming landed on the 3rd flight of stairs, a black fire appeared on the 3rd flight of stairs and enveloped Lu Ming. It was a demon fire. It was extremely hot. Lu Ming felt pain all over his body. "Break!" shouted Lu Ming furiously. He released forbidden strength to push the demon fire away. But then, he was astonished. He realized that he couldn't push the demon fire away. The demon fire kept burning his body. He felt pain all over his body. Could it be that this flight of stairs is a test of my willpower? Lu Ming said in a low voice. He then gathered his spirit and energy and continued to step forward. As expected, the demon fire on the 2nd flight of stairs was even more intense. It burned even more painfully. Even with Lu Ming's willpower, he couldn't help but take a deep breath. As expected, it was a test of willpower. If his willpower wasn't strong enough, he wouldn't be able to withstand it. However, Lu Ming had experienced many things along the way. His willpower had long been firm and indomitable. Bang! Bang! Lu Ming continued to ascend. Every time he ascended a flight of stairs, the power of the demonic fire would increase by a notch. That kind of piercing pain would also increase. It almost exceeded the limit of an ordinary person's endurance. Lu Ming gritted his teeth and finally reached the 9th flight of stairs. The demon fire on this flight of stairs was too terrifying. This kind of demonic fire would not burn his body, nor would it destroy his body. It would only bring him endless pain. Lu Ming's body trembled slightly. He broke out in a cold sweat and was completely drenched in it. Huff! Huff! Lu Ming took deep breaths to resist the urge to retreat. Finally, Lu Ming stepped onto the 9th flight of stairs with great willpower and arrived at the 3rd flight of stairs. On the 3rd flight of stairs was a set of golden armor. Should I choose this set? Lu Ming hesitated. To be honest, the previous flight of stairs was already very difficult. He had almost reached the limit of his endurance before he finally stepped onto it. Needless to say, the next flight of stairs would be even more difficult. Chapter 4102. Lu Ming was a little hesitant. The main reason was that he didn't know if he could return to get the golden armor if he failed on the 4th step. That demon genius Eugene is also not to be underestimated. If I get the golden armor, the other party might also get a treasure of the same level. My combat strength is lower than the other party's to begin with. If I get the same treasure, I'm still not the other party's match. At the thought of this, Lu Ming's gaze became determined. He planned to give it a try. If he wanted to win, he had to get the highest level of treasure. Only then would he be confident. After taking a look at the golden armor, Lu Ming continued to move forward and walked toward the 4th step of the stairs. He actually didn't choose the golden armor. Dong Yuanqing and the others were a little surprised. Originally, they had thought that Lu Ming would choose the golden armor, but they had set their sights on the silver armor. Unexpectedly, Lu Ming actually gave up on the golden armor and chose to continue climbing. It was obvious that his target was the purple armor at the highest level. The eyes of Dong Yuanqing and the other 5 flickered a few times. Then, they moved at the same time and walked towards the 3rd step. Seeing that Lu Ming had given up on the golden armor, they immediately set their sights on the golden armor. Dong Yuanqing and the other 5 stepped onto the 3rd step. Like Lu Ming, they were also burned by the demonic fire and suffered great pain. They gritted their teeth and persevered. Further behind, there were also changes. 5 or 6 people had already stepped onto the 1st step and even reached the 1st platform. These people included Ling Yue and the battle god Yuanwen. During this period of time, the battle god Yuanwen had been constantly fighting with the demons and stimulated his potential. His cultivation had also broken through and reached the 4th layer of the Divine Emperor realm. With his strength that could cross 5 levels, it wasn't difficult for him to rush through the 1st step. After arriving at the 1st platform, Ling Yue and the battle god Yuanwen didn't even look at the bronze armor and directly walked towards the 2nd step. The remaining people's eyes flickered a few times, and then they walked towards the bronze armor at the same time. Further up, there was Lu Ming and the 6 monstrous geniuses. They knew that they would definitely not have a share of the armor. Therefore, their target was this armor. But in the next moment, they all stopped and looked at each other warily. There was only 1 piece of armor, but there were 4 of them. How were they going to split it? Everyone, our main purpose in obtaining this armor is to fight against the demons and win this battle. After the battle, we might not be able to keep this armor for ourselves. Why don't you give it to me? One of the young women said. What you say makes sense. It's the same if you leave it to me. Another young man said immediately. I think I'm more suitable. I think it suits me. The other 2 young men refused to give way. Although he might not be able to keep the armor for himself after the battle, the more devils he killed while wearing the armor, the more credits he would gain. When the time came, the rewards would definitely be greater. Naturally, they would not give in. Whoosh! Suddenly, the woman who spoke first moved. She pounced on the bronze armor. Don't even think about it. The bronze armor is mine. The other 3 young men also threw themselves at the bronze armor. The 4 of them started fighting. Those who had managed to reach this far weren't weak. The 4 of them had the strength of the 9th godly emperor layer. The battle was intense. But in the end, one of the young men was stronger than the others. After getting injured, he was the first one to reach the bronze armor. It's mine! Shouted the young man happily. He tried to grab the bronze armor. However, when the young man's palm neared the bronze armor, the armor emitted a powerful wave that sent the young man flying. The young man was pushed back a dozen steps and shouted furiously, "How is this possible?" The other 3 people were overjoyed. The woman took the first step and tried to grab the bronze armor, but she was also pushed away by the bronze armor. At this moment, the remaining 2 people were stunned and stopped in their tracks. Could it be that the armor knows how to choose people? Said one of them. Let's try it first. Said the 3rd person. He tried to grab the bronze armor. The others didn't stop him. However, the 3rd person was also sent flying by the power of the bronze armor. After 3 people had been pushed away, the 4th person didn't have much confidence anymore. But he was unwilling to give up. He used his full strength to grab the bronze armor, but he was still pushed away. I don't believe it! Shouted the first young man. He wasn't willing to give up. He tried to grab the bronze armor again, but the result was the same. He was also pushed away, but he wasn't injured. After that, the others also tried, but the result was the same. They were all pushed away. By then, Lu Ming had already stepped onto the stairs of the fourth stage. The fourth step was completely different from the previous ones. When Lu Ming reached the first step of the fourth step, a gigantic demon appeared in his mind. This devil was incomparably terrifying and exuded a terrifying aura. Is that a demon master? Lu Ming was astonished. The gigantic demon's eyes were like lightning. He stared at Lu Ming and hollered, "Get lost." His roar was accompanied by a terrifying pressure. It was as if all living beings had to kneel down in front of him. At the same time, there was a powerful force acting on Lu Ming's body. Lu Ming's body trembled. He was under such great pressure that he almost spat out a mouthful of blood. But in the end, it was blocked by Lu Ming. Phew, what a strong pressure! There was a look of shock in Lu Ming's eyes. The pressure emitted by the gigantic demon didn't only affect the soul, but also the body. It was a dual pressure on the soul and the body. If one wasn't strong, didn't have a firm mind, didn't have an unyielding spirit, and didn't have an invincible spirit, they would succumb under this pressure. However, Lu Ming had a forbidden body. How could he succumb to others when he was doing forbidden things? Even if the other party was a demon master, he wouldn't succumb. No one in the world can make me succumb, not even a demon master. Lu Ming roared in his heart. His footsteps were firm as he stepped onto the second step. On the second step, the gigantic demon in his mind continued to roar, "Get down." The pressure this time was stronger than the last time. Lu Ming's body trembled even more. Even his heart was trembling. However, Lu Ming's eyes were still filled with an unyielding light. Bang! He took another step up, the third step, the fourth step, the fifth step. Lu Ming continued to step on the sixth step. Chapter 4103. The higher the steps, the more horrifying the pressure that the huge evil demon emitted. In the end, it gave Lu Ming the illusion that he was facing a real demon master. A master was definitely a peak expert in the great desolate universe. Any one of them could be called an overlord. In the entire great desolate universe, aside from the heavenly palace, only the top 100 races had a master. Furthermore, many races only had one master. As the core strength, they usually did not make a move. Without a doubt, such a person already stood at the peak of billions of living beings. They were high and mighty, looking down on the entire universe. The pressure of such a person was incomparably terrifying. If he deliberately emitted his pressure, ordinary people would not even be able to stand steadily before him. They would kneel in fear. Of course, the demon master's pressure that appeared on the steps could not be the full pressure of a demon master. It was only a small portion. Otherwise, even if Lu Ming's will was firm and unyielding, he would not be able to withstand it. The difference in level was too great. Even so, Lu Ming was already under immense pressure. Bang! Following that, Lu Ming took a step forward and stepped onto the seventh step. The demon master's pressure on this step was even more horrifying. Lu Ming's body trembled, and drops of blood seeped out of his pores. The most terrifying thing was the pressure on his mind. It was even greater than the pressure on his body. Lu Ming felt like an ant looking up at a divine dragon. A sense of helplessness spread out from his heart. He had a feeling that he could not win, No matter how strong the other party is, it is only temporary. As long as I walk forward step by step firmly, I will catch up to the other party sooner or later. I might even trample the other party under my feet. When I first started cultivating, Martial Monarch DE was high and mighty, as if he could not be defeated. However, in the end, didn't he die at my hands? After that, when I went to the heavenly realm, I felt that the evil god race was undefeatable and that the deities were unrivaled. However, didn't I defeat him in the end? After coming to the great desolate universe, I felt that the deities' kings were unrivaled. However, what about now? What are the deities kings before me? As long as I have time, the Divine Master, the Demon Master, the Lord of Heaven, and even the Lord of Heaven will all be defeated by me. Lu Ming roared in his heart. His eyes, which had been somewhat shaken, once again became firm and unyielding. Along the way, he had created too many miracles, defeated too many powerful enemies, and walked through too many twists and turns. His mind, his invincibility, had long been unshakable. He forcefully withstood the pressure of the 7th step and took another step forward, stepping onto the 8th step. After some effort, he managed to resist the pressure of the 8th step and stepped onto the 9th step. The pressure of the 9th step was too terrifying. It was as if a real demon lord had appeared. The terrifying and boundless pressure almost caused Lu Ming to kneel down. This time, he almost knelt down. Both his legs were bent and fresh blood was seeping out from the surface of his body. He could even feel cracks appearing all over his bones. I will not yield. Lu Ming looked up to the sky and let out a long howl. His eyes were wide open in anger, and his long black hair fluttered in the wind. His originally bent body straightened up again. Bang! Lu Ming lifted his trembling right foot, as if he had used up all his strength, and finally stepped onto the platform. When Lu Ming stepped onto the platform, the huge devil figure in his mind disappeared. The pressure acting on Lu Ming's body and mind also disappeared without a trace. With a plop, Lu Ming sat on the ground, gasping for breath. He was too tired just now. After a while, Lu Ming recovered and looked down. Below, Dong Yuanqing and the other 5 experts were still on the 3rd step, undergoing the test of the demonic flame. Their current achievements were naturally not flowers in a greenhouse. It was impossible for flowers in a greenhouse to have such achievements. They had also gone through many hardships along the way, and their willpower was also very strong. At this moment, they had all reached the 9th step of the 3rd step. Although they felt that it was incomparably difficult, in the end, they all stepped onto the 3rd platform one after another. Then, they looked at the golden armor with burning gazes. Then, they looked at each other with some fear. There were 6 of them, but there was only one set of golden armor. How should they split it? The armor here seems to choose its target. You've seen the bronze armor below just now. Even if we compete, it's very likely to be useless. Why don't we take turns? Dong Yuanqing suggested. Oh, then who's going first? Bu Nan said lightly. The scene fell silent again. Everyone wanted to be the first to go up. To be honest, the 6 of them had similar talent and strength. Who was weaker than the other? If the golden armor chose one of them, it might also choose the others. No one wanted to fall behind the others. How about this? Let's draw lots to decide who's going first. If we fight and get injured, the devil will be the one to benefit, Dong Yuanqing suggested. Okay, I have no objections. I have no objections either. The others thought for a while and nodded in agreement. They were the top forces of the heavenly palace. If they were injured because of the golden armor, it would be very disadvantageous to the heavenly palace. This was not something they wanted to see, so they decided to draw lots. Soon, the lot was drawn. I'm the first. Bu Nan laughed. He drew lots to be the first one to try, which made him ecstatic. Bam bam. He stepped forward and came in front of the golden armor. He channeled all the strength in his body and grabbed the golden armor with his palm. Buzz! Immediately, the golden armor vibrated slightly, and a powerful force surged out, directly bouncing Bu Nan back. Impossible, how is this possible? Bu Nan roared. He found it hard to accept that he had failed. I don't believe it. I want to try again. Bu Nan roared. He wanted to rush up again, but suddenly, a few figures appeared in front of him. A powerful aura surged toward him. Bunan, are you trying to break the agreement? The monster from the devil race said coldly. Bunan had no choice but to stop. His face was filled with reluctance. However, he could not be arrogant in front of these people. They were all peerless monsters from the top 10 races. Their status was not inferior to his. Although Dong Yuanqing was not from the top 10 races, he was also a monster from the World Divine Turtle race. The World Divine Turtle race was unparalleled in the world. Although they were not from the top 10 races, they were ranked 15th. Their status was not inferior to his. These people were not afraid of him. He could only wait obediently. It's my turn. The second was the peerless monster from the Battle Saint tribe. He stepped forward and came in front of the golden armor, grabbing it. Chapter 4104. The demon-level genius of the Battle Saint tribe also tried to grab the golden armor. However, the result was the same as Bunan. He was also sent flying. The second person failed. Because of this, the expressions of the others turned unsightly. Bunan and the demon-level genius of the Battle Saint tribe had talent and combat prowess that wasn't any weaker than them. Yet, they had failed consecutively. Could it be that they were going to fail as well? The third person, Dong Yuanqing, failed. The fourth person, the fifth person, the sixth person. In the end, the 6 of them took turns to try. Without exception, all of them failed. What's going on? Does that mean that we can't obtain the golden armor? Bunan asked with reluctance. Up until now, no one had managed to obtain the golden armor. Earlier, no one had succeeded in obtaining the bronze armor. But if they couldn't obtain it, what was the point of a godlord-level character from the heavenly palace setting up such a place of good fortune? Next, Bunan and the others were unwilling to give up. They took turns to try again, but all of them failed. At this moment, their gazes involuntarily shifted upwards and landed on Lu Ming. They wanted to see if Lu Ming could succeed. All of them actually failed. Lu Ming was astonished when he saw this. His heart was filled with uncertainty. Because he didn't know what was going on. Did he make this trip for nothing? But since he was already here, he naturally had to give it a try. Right now, Lu Ming had more or less recovered. He stood up and walked towards the purple gold armor. Taboo energy enveloped his entire body as he grabbed the armor with his palm. When Lu Ming's palm neared the purple gold armor, he felt a slight vibration from the armor as a surge of energy surged towards him. But the moment this surge of energy neared his palm, it immediately retracted and vanished without a trace. Lu Ming grabbed the purple gold armor and held it in his hand. I got it. Below, Dong Yuanqing and the others were dumbfounded. Damn it. This was especially so for Bunan. He was extremely unhappy. They could not even get their hands on the golden armor, but Lu Ming could easily get his hands on the purple gold armor, which was of a higher level. It was obvious who was better. Should I use it or not? After obtaining the violet gold armor, Lu Ming was at a loss again. This was the armor left behind by the Lord of Heaven. If he wore it, he would have to inject forbidden power into the armor. Would the Lord of Heaven sense it? Actually, you don't have to be so conflicted. If it was so easy to be sensed, why would Fei Huang let you come to the heavenly palace? Why would she dare to let you come to the heavenly palace? Unless you come into contact with it personally, you won't be able to sense it so easily. Gu Mo said. That's true. Lu Ming nodded. A character on the level of the Lord of Heaven was too terrifying. Facing such a character, it was inevitable that Lu Ming would be cautious. Lu Ming immediately infused his forbidden energy into the purple gold armor. Instantly, the purplish gold armor emitted a dazzling glow. It transformed into a purplish gold ray of light and flew to Lu Ming's body. A set of purplish gold armor immediately appeared on the surface of Lu Ming's body, covering his entire body. This power, Lu Ming felt that an incomparably powerful power had appeared in his body. This power was brought about by the purple gold armor. At this moment, Lu Ming had a feeling that he could kill a god emperor with a single punch. "Eugene, I look forward to fighting you again," Lu Ming whispered, his fighting spirit strong. It really worked. When the others saw Lu Ming wearing the purple gold armor and looking majestic, they were surprised, happy, and jealous. Jealousy was easy to understand. The happy thing was that Lu Ming was from the heavenly palace after all. Now that he had obtained the highest level of armor, their chances of winning against the demons had greatly increased. After all, this was a good thing. At the same time, it also brought a signal that these armors could be collected. There must be something wrong with the previous failure. At this moment, Ling Yue and the battle god Yuanwen had already arrived at the second platform. After arriving at the second platform, the battle god Yuanwen looked at the silver armor and then at the golden armor above. He resolutely continued to walk up towards the third platform. As for Ling Yue, after thinking for a moment, she did not continue upwards. She knew very well that in terms of talent, she was definitely not a match for the battle god Yuanwen. After her observation just now, it was very likely that these armors would be chosen for people with high talent. It did not have much to do with battle strength. This point could be seen from the failure of Dong Yuanqing, Bunan, and the others. If she were to compete with the battle god Yuanwen, she might not be a match for him. Therefore, she simply stayed on the second platform and walked towards the silver armor. She stretched out her hand and grabbed the silver armor. Just like when Lu Ming grabbed the purple gold armor, the silver armor emitted a trace of fluctuation at first. Then, the fluctuation disappeared, and the silver armor was grabbed by her. Success! The others widened their eyes in shock. Another one succeeded. Dong Yuanqing, Bunan, and the others were envious and jealous. They couldn't get the golden armor, and now the silver armor had been taken away. Could it be that they could only get the bronze armor? They were unwilling to give up and tried to get the golden armor again. However, the final result was still a failure. Obviously, those who could succeed were all successful in one try. If they couldn't succeed in one try, then there was definitely no chance. Bang! 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 The sound of footsteps continued to ring out. The battle god Yuanwen was still heading towards the third platform. The demonic fire enveloped his entire body, but it could not extinguish his will and battle intent. In the end, he stepped onto the third platform and walked towards the golden armor. Bunan and the others did not stop him. The battle god, Yuanwen, grabbed the golden armor. However, he didn't get sent flying. He successfully caught it. Success! As expected, does it have a lot to do with talent? Someone whispered. They naturally knew about the talent of the battle god Yuanwen. He was the number one on the Quasi-Emperor Top 100 list, an unparalleled figure. Of course, this test was not completely dependent on talent. Battle strength was also part of it. Without a certain level of battle strength, one would not even be able to break through the demons condensed from demonic aura. Moreover, the first step of the stairs was a test of battle strength. At the very least, one had to have the battle strength of the 9th godly emperor layer to pass the first step. Without a certain level of battle strength, it was useless no matter how talented one was. In this way, the golden armor, and the silver armor all had owners. Now, only the bronze armor was left. Dong Yuanqing and the others glanced at each other and then rushed down at the same time. They rushed down the stairs of the third step. Immediately, demonic fire filled the air. However, the demonic fire gradually weakened as they went down. They were very fast and soon arrived at the second platform. Then, they continued down and arrived at the first platform. The 4 youths on the first platform hurriedly retreated. "Let's attack together. It belongs to whoever can get it," Dong Yuanqing said and grabbed the bronze armor. The other 5 people also attacked at the same time and grabbed the bronze armor. Chapter 4105. The 6 young geniuses grabbed at the bronze armor together. At the instant they grabbed it, the bronze armor trembled violently as a powerful force burst forth. Swish, 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 the 6 young geniuses were forced to retreat one after another. The hearts of everyone trembled. Could it be that none of the 6 young geniuses could obtain the bronze armor? No, it was actually 5 people who were forced back. There was still one person who hadn't moved. It was that monstrous genius from the Battle Saint tribe. He grabbed the bronze armor. After that, the bronze armor transformed into a beam of light that enveloped his body. A bronze-colored battle armor appeared on his body, enveloping him within. It's the battle god Yuan Kong. He succeeded. Awesome, the Battle Saint tribe is indeed a tribe famous for their battle prowess. Not only are they fond of battle, but their combat prowess is also unparalleled. The bronze armor ultimately chose the battle god Yuan Kong. Some people exclaimed, feeling extremely envious. Bunan, Dong Yuanqing, and the others had looks of unwillingness on their faces. This time, they actually didn't obtain any of the 4 armors in the land of good fortune. It was truly a little embarrassing. Of the 4 armors, the highest grade, the violet gold armor, was obtained by Lu Ming. The golden armor, second only to the violet gold armor, was obtained by the battle god Yuanwen. The silver armor was obtained by Ling Yue. The lowest grade bronze armor landed in the hands of the battle god Yuan Kong. Just like that, the 4 armors were divided among the 4 of them. Rumble when the battle god Yuanwen obtained the bronze armor, the steps here trembled violently before collapsing, turning into energy and vanishing. The baleful devilish chi below the steps and the demons condensed from it all vanished as well. This area became the same as the other areas. It was just an ordinary rocky area. Great! In the surroundings, many people revealed looks of excitement. This time, the 4 armors left behind by the Divine Lord were all obtained. This was definitely the best ending. Mu Yun, battle god Yuanwen, how is it? Do you guys think you can deal with the demons? Dong Yuanqing's gaze turned to Lu Ming and the others. Ha ha ha, don't worry. This armor contains powerful energy. Right now, I feel that my entire body is filled with inexhaustible energy. Even if I face that Eugene, I can still beat him to death. Battle god Yuanwen laughed, his battle intent surging. If the other party has also obtained the good fortune left behind by the Demon Lord, it won't be so easy to deal with them. There's no time to lose. We should act as soon as possible and find the traces of the demons. It's best if we can kill them before they obtain the good fortune left behind by the Demon Lord. At this moment, Lu Ming spoke. Everyone was shocked and calmed down. Yes, although they had obtained the creation left behind by the Divine Master, the demons had also obtained the creation left behind by the Demon Master. If the other party also obtained all the good fortune left behind by the Demon Lord, and the Demon Lord's strength was stronger than theirs, then they would be in danger. They would still be at a disadvantage. That's right, we have to find the evil demon as soon as possible. Act now. Everyone chimed in one after another. Leave the search to my World Turtle Clan. Since Dong Yuanqing had spoken, everyone naturally had no reason to disagree. Dong Yuanqing immediately left with the other sky prides of the World God Turtles. The World's Turtle Clan was proficient in the Tao of rune formations. They were the most suitable to investigate the traces of the evil demons. After Dong Yuanqing and the others left, everyone waited at the same spot. Especially those who were injured while breaking through the stairs just now, they seized the time to heal their injuries. This wait lasted for an entire day. Suddenly, a figure flashed in the distance. Everyone looked and saw that it was Dong Yuanqing. Everyone knew that there was probably news about the evil demons. "Everyone, we've found the evil demons, and they seem to be looking for us too," Dong Yuanqing said. "What? The evil demons are looking for us too? In that case, the evil demons have also obtained the good fortune left behind by the demon lord and want to find us as soon as possible to kill us?" Someone exclaimed. The evil demons were looking for them, obviously having the same idea as them. This was not good news for them. Indeed, the evil demons must have obtained the good fortune left behind by the demon lord. Dong Yuanqing said. "Do you know if the evil demons have obtained all the good fortune left behind by the demon lord?" Someone asked. "I don't know about that." Dong Yuanqing shook his head. This made many people's hearts heavy. If the evil demons had also obtained all the good fortune left behind by the demon lord, they would be in danger. Should they still go and fight? Now that both sides have obtained the good fortune, there's no suspense. We're already in our strongest state. If we can't beat them now, we'll definitely lose. Instead of staying here in fear, it's better to fight the evil demons to the death. Lu Ming's voice sounded. "That's right. We'll know whether we can beat them or not after we fight them. If the other party is stronger than us, it's useless even if we run away. Sooner or later, we'll be found and killed by them." Battle God Yuanwen also shouted. "That's right. We'll die if we go and kill them. Let's fight it out with them." The others also shouted. Even if some of them were timid, they had no choice but to bite the bullet and fight at this moment. As Lu Ming said, now that they had obtained the good fortune, they could only rely on their strength. There was no more suspense. "Brother Dong Yuanqing, where is the evil demons?" Lu Ming asked. "Follow me," Dong Yuanqing said, turned around, and stepped into the air. Lu Ming was the first to step out and catch up with Dong Yuanqing. The rest followed suit. They had been flying westward in a grandiose manner. They had no intention of hiding. Soon, their tracks were discovered by the evil demons. The heavenly palace dares to come. It seems that they have obtained the good fortune left behind by the heavenly palace. "Eugene, what should we do?" A evil demon prodigy asked Eugene. "What else can we do now? There's no way out now. We can only fight to the death with the heavenly palace. Listen to my order. Let's go and kill the bastards of the heavenly palace." Eugene shouted. Kill all the bastards of the heavenly palace. Kill." The evil demons roared. Evil Qi soared into the sky, and they charged in the direction of Lu Ming and the others. Lu Ming and the others flew all the way. After a while, they're here. Lu Ming's gaze looked ahead. In front of them, the demonic Qi soared into the sky, rolling over like waves. Soon, a large group of evil demons appeared. There were nearly 3,000 of them. When the evil demons came, there were nearly 4,000 of them. Because of Eugene, the evil demons' losses were not as great as the heavenly palaces. The heavenly palaces' numbers were less than 1,500. The difference in numbers between the two sides was more than half. This made the heavenly palaces' people pale. Some of the more timid ones were a little scared. But there was no way out now. They could only fight. Kill. When the evil demons saw Lu Ming and the others, they let out a deafening roar. Evil Qi soared into the sky. The evil demons flapped their wings and flew toward Lu Ming and the others. Chapter 4106. The demon army charged toward Lu Ming and the rest with billowing demonic aura. Among them, 3 were the most special. The reason for that was because the three of them were all wearing blood-red demonic armors. Behind the magic armor, there was a pair of wings made of energy extending out. One of them had a pair of wings on his back, another had 2 pairs of wings, and the last had 3 pairs of wings. These wings were part of the blood-red demonic armor, not their own demonic wings. Among them, Eugene had 3 pairs of wings. It seems that this blood-red magic armor is the devil's fortune. The more wings a devil has, the higher its level. I wonder if Eugene's is the best among the devil's fortune. A thought flashed across Lu Ming's mind. His figure did not stop as he dashed forward. Charge! The people from the heavenly palace also roared and rushed towards the devil. Among them, Lu Ming and Eugene were the fastest. The purple gold battle armor had already covered Lu Ming's entire body, making him look majestic and awe-inspiring. Kid, I'll kill you today. Eugene stared at Lu Ming immediately, his eyes filled with cold murderous intent. The blood-red magic armor on his body emitted a terrifying blood-red light, making him look like an ancient demon god. That's exactly what I wanted to say. Today is the day you die, Eugene. Lu Ming also said coldly. The two of them were the fastest. Like 2 shooting stars, they cut across the sky and collided with a boom. Boom! The world shook violently. The purple gold light and the blood-red light lit up the entire sky. It was like 2 stars colliding and exploding. Who's stronger? At this moment, almost everyone's attention was focused on the two of them. The success or failure of Lu Ming and Eugene was likely to affect the final victory or defeat of the heavenly palace and the devils. Everyone was paying attention. Whoosh! In the next moment, a figure retreated quickly. At this moment, all the devils' eyes widened. It was Eugene. That retreating figure was actually Eugene. This shocked the countless fiends. On the other hand, the people from the heavenly palace were ecstatic. Lu Ming had gained the upper hand. The strongest existence on the demon side, Eugene, was no longer so terrifying. The heavenly palace's people were most afraid of Eugene. But now, the strongest demon, Eugene, was being suppressed by Lu Ming. What was there to be afraid of? Kill! The morale of the heavenly palace was greatly boosted. They roared and charged towards the demons. On the other hand, the demons' morale was low and they were no longer as strong as before. You're mine. The battle god Yuan was clad in a golden battle armor. He looked extraordinarily mighty as his battle intent soared to the sky. He condensed a battle spear with his energy and stared at the fiend wearing a blood-red demonic armor with 2 pairs of wings. That demon also charged towards the battle god Yuan. The two of them exchanged a blow, but it was the demon who retreated quickly. Once again, the demons were at a disadvantage. This time, the morale of the heavenly palace was even higher, while the demons were even weaker. Rumble. The other people from the heavenly palace and the demons also collided and a fierce battle broke out. High up in the sky, Eugene, it seems that you didn't get the best creation left by the demon lord. Lu Ming sneered. You. Could it be? Eugene looked at Lu Ming in shock. Lu Ming's combat strength was originally weaker than his, but now, he could suppress him. This obviously meant that Lu Ming's creation was stronger than his. You're right. I got the best creation. The one who will die today will be you. Lu Ming's cold voice came out. He didn't stop and charged towards Eugene. So what if you got the best creation? I'm invincible. I can still defeat you. Eugene roared. His eyes were red as if he had gone mad. He pushed all his strength to the extreme and charged towards Lu Ming. The two of them collided and fought fiercely. Rumble, the two of them fought fiercely and crazily. In an instant, they had exchanged more than 10 rounds. Bam! Then, Eugene's figure retreated rapidly and crashed into the ground, creating a large crater. But in the next moment, blood spurted into the sky. Eugene rushed towards Lu Ming again and the two of them continued to fight. But this time, before the 10 moves were over, Eugene's body was pushed back and smashed into the ground again. This time, he spat out mouthfuls of blood. Cracks appeared on his blood-red demonic armor. There was even a fist-sized hole in one part of the armor that had caved in. "Kill!" Lu Ming roared. His whole body was wrapped in purple gold light. He swooped down and charged towards Eugene. Even before Zhang Xian arrived, his fearsome might had already caused the ground to explode. "Ah!" Eugene roared. Naturally, he didn't want to be killed like this. He used all his strength and rushed into the sky to fight against Lu Ming. Rumble. The two of them exchanged blows in the air. But at this time, Eugene was already injured. Even his blood-red magic armor was damaged. His combat strength was greatly reduced and he couldn't resist Lu Ming's attack. His body fell quickly again. Lu Ming didn't stop attacking. He rushed towards Eugene and punched continuously. Rumble. Rumble. At this moment, Eugene couldn't defend at all. Lu Ming's fists fell on his body like raindrops. The speed was too fast. In a breath, Lu Ming had thrown hundreds of punches. All of them landed on Eugene's body. If it wasn't for the blood-red magic armor, Eugene would have exploded into a cloud of blood. Even so, Eugene was seriously injured. Crack. At this time, more cracks appeared on Eugene's magic armor. It sounded like porcelain breaking. "No," Eugene roared unwillingly. The next moment, his magic armor exploded into pieces and flew in all directions. His magic armor was destroyed by Lu Ming. Without his magic armor and in a seriously injured state, Eugene was like an ant in front of Lu Ming. Lu Ming grabbed Eugene's head with his palm and squeezed it hard. Eugene's head exploded. Eugene was dead. Then, Lu Ming drew out Eugene's demon spirit blood and stored it in a jade bottle. Eugene, in the Divine Emperor realm, could fight across 5 levels. His talent wasn't inferior to fighting God Yuanwen. This kind of demon had unlimited potential. No one knew how far he could grow. The amount of demon spirit blood he could exchange for must be shockingly high. Eugene is dead. At this moment, the demons were in chaos. Eugene was the most powerful demon in this batch of demons. He was also the most powerful prodigy. However, he had been killed by Lu Ming. Even Eugene, who was wearing 3 pairs of demon wings, couldn't defeat him. How could they? All the demons felt cold and lost their will to fight. In this way, the Heavenly Palace seized the opportunity and took advantage of their weakness to kill many demons in one fell swoop. The demon who was fighting with fighting God Yuanwen was completely suppressed by fighting God Yuanwen. At this moment, fighting God Yuanwen seized the opportunity and chopped off his head. He died on the spot. Chapter 4107. On the demon side, the demon wearing a pair of demon-winged armor had been targeted by Ling Yue and was also suppressed by her. At this moment, Ling Yue's arrow pierced through his armor and killed him in midair. Their magic armors were 1 level lower than Ling Yue, Battle God Yuanwen, and the others. Lu Ming and the others speculated that the highest level of fortune left behind by the Demon Lord should be the 4 pairs of demon-winged armor, which corresponded to the purple gold battle armor that Lu Ming had obtained. Eugene's 3 pairs of demon-winged armor corresponded to the golden battle armor that the battle god Yuanwen had obtained. 2 pairs of demon-winged armor corresponded to the silver battle armor. A pair of demon-winged armor corresponded to the bronze battle armor. And now, the demons and Lu Ming's group were all 1 level lower. How could they be a match for Lu Ming and the others? Naturally, they were all killed one-sidedly. The 3 people on the demon's side who had obtained the demon lord's fortune were all killed. This made the demon's morale extremely low. Retreat. Let's go. Many demons roared and retreated, no longer having the slightest intention to fight. You want to leave? Lu Ming's eyes were cold as he suddenly moved horizontally. The power of the purple gold battle armor that he had activated was too strong. An ordinary first-layer God realm existence would be killed by him with a single punch. Even his speed was extremely fast. As soon as he moved, he appeared in front of a tall and sturdy abyss devil. This demon was a top-notch demon genius, on the same level as Dong Yuanqing and the others. At this moment, seeing Lu Ming suddenly appear, he was scared witless and subconsciously wanted to retreat, but how could he retreat? Lu Ming's palm was like a blade as he slashed out, breaking through all of his opponent's attacks and defenses, splitting him into 2 halves. At the same time, he grabbed the demon's spirit blood in his hand. In the next moment, Lu Ming attacked another demon. Lu Ming specifically targeted the top-notch demons to kill. He killed one demon with one move. Within a breath's time, several top-notch demons were killed. I admit defeat, let's admit defeat. Yes, admit defeat. At this moment, many demons roared. As long as 80% of the demons admitted defeat at the same time, they wouldn't have to die. At this point, there was no point in continuing to fight. Facing Lu Ming and the others who were wearing battle armor, they were like ants. There was no way for them to fight back. If they continued to fight, they would only be wiped out. Might as well just admit defeat. Yes, admit defeat, admit defeat. Admit defeat. The other demons also reacted. At this moment, they no longer cared about being punished by the demon lord after admitting defeat. They only wanted to save their lives first. Many abyss devils wanted to admit defeat. Wang. At this moment, Lu Ming activated the purplish gold battle armor with all his strength. His entire body shone with a dazzling radiance as a terrifying power constantly spread out, enveloping a large area around him. There were at least 1,000 evil demons in this area. They were suppressed by Lu Ming's power, and their bodies were about to explode. Not only were they unable to move, they couldn't even speak. Since he couldn't speak, he naturally couldn't admit defeat. These demons were so anxious that their faces turned red, but they couldn't scream. Without 1,000 evil demons admitting defeat, even if all the other evil demons admitted defeat, it would be useless. This was because more than 80% of the evil demons had to admit defeat to be considered a loss. Kill. Don't let a single evil demon go. The heavenly palace roared as they charged towards the evil demons. Especially Battle God Yuanwen, Ling Yue, and Battle God Yuan Kong. They were wearing battle armor and were invincible. As they charged past, a large number of evil demons were killed, and a large amount of evil demon spirit blood fell into their hands. The surrounding people were so envious that their eyes turned red. One had to know that these evil demons were all geniuses among the evil demons. They all had great potential, and the evil demon spirit blood of each evil demon was shockingly valuable. It was almost impossible to meet so many evil demon geniuses under normal circumstances. Lu Ming wasn't idle either. He also started a massacre against the evil demons. The thousands of evil demon geniuses were suppressed by the power of his purple gold battle armor. They were like lambs waiting to be slaughtered by Lu Ming. Lu Ming punched out, and a large number of evil demon geniuses were killed. The evil demon spirit blood was attracted by Lu Ming's powerful strength, and all of it was stored in a jade box. Lu Ming's body glowed as he charged forward. Wherever he passed, no evil demon could survive. There was no need to be soft-hearted or show mercy to the evil demons. He just needed to kill them. Over 1,000 evil demon geniuses were killed by Lu Ming in just a short while. Over 1,000 drops of evil demon spirit blood fell into Lu Ming's hands. At this moment, the remaining evil demon geniuses were almost killed by battle god Yuanwen, Ling Yue, and the others. Almost none of them escaped. The top forces of the evil demons were all killed by Lu Ming. When facing the heavenly palace, it was completely one-sided. In addition, battle god Yuanwen and the others had battle armor. The difference in combat strength was too great. The evil demons couldn't even escape. Almost all the evil demons who came to fight were killed. Ha ha ha, victory! We won! Many people in the heavenly palace laughed loudly, incomparably excited. Especially the group of people who had been suppressed and chased by Eugene and the others. They were even more excited. This victory was too difficult to come by. Previously, they were chased by the evil demons all the way. They were no match for them at all. They were on tenterhooks every day. Every time they thought about it, they felt that they were doomed this time. They were no match for the evil demons. They didn't expect that they would win in such a short time. Moreover, almost all the evil demons were wiped out. Victory came too suddenly. The Lord of Heaven and the other lords haven't appeared yet. It's not over yet. This means that there are still some evil demons scattered everywhere and haven't been killed. We have to find these evil demons and kill them all. Only then can it be considered a true victory. Dong Yuanqing said. Everyone calmed down and nodded. Indeed, the condition for victory was to kill all the evil demons or have more than 80% of the evil demons admit defeat. Clearly, there were still evil demons alive and didn't follow before. These scattered evil demons didn't know that they had already lost. Naturally, more than 80% of them admitted defeat. Let's search for the evil demons in batches. Search inch by inch. We must find every evil demon. Okay, let's do that. Everyone roared. Then, a group of 12 people spread out and went in all directions to search for the evil demons. Outside the temporary planet, in the sky above, the evil demons and the 12 Lord-level existences of the heavenly palace stood on both sides of the temporary planet. Their eyes were like stars, clearly seeing what was happening on the temporary planet. Trash, a bunch of trash. A demon lord shouted coldly. His voice was incomparably cold and contained terrifying anger. The other demon lords were similar. Although they didn't speak, the demon fire on their bodies burned fiercely, turning the void into chaos. The flames in their eyes seemed to have turned into 2 suns. Chapter 4108. Ha ha ha, everyone, it looks like our heavenly palace's prodigies are slightly better. Thank you for letting us have the great tomb of heaven and earth. A lord of heaven laughed heartily. Even a lord of heaven couldn't help but feel excited. The great tomb of heaven and earth had been left behind by a terrifying existence. Even a divine lord would find it difficult to compare to that level of strength. Even a lord-level figure would be tempted by a place left behind by such a being. Humph. Damn it. The 6 demon lords snorted coldly, extremely displeased. The great tomb of heaven and earth also contained a peerless demon powerhouse. They also wanted to obtain it. Unfortunately, they'd made a bet with a lord-level figure from the heavenly palace and sworn an oath with their life essence. Given their cultivation, they didn't dare violate it. They could only give up this great opportunity to someone from the heavenly palace. No matter how unwilling they were, it was useless. Although the competition wasn't over yet, the result was already out. There was no suspense. It was only a matter of time before the winner was officially decided. That guy, the image of a young man, floated into the minds of the 6 demon lords. This young man was Lu Ming. The demon's defeat this time was entirely due to Lu Ming. If Lu Ming hadn't obtained the highest level of violet gold armor and killed Eugene, the demons wouldn't have lost at all. Lu Ming would have been the winner. It was because of Lu Ming's appearance that the tide of the battle had turned. They etched Lu Ming's image deeply into their minds. If they had the chance in the future, they wouldn't let Lu Ming have it easy. The hunt continued on the temporary planet. Lu Ming also participated in the hunt. These demon prodigies were all merit points. It would be a waste not to take them. In the merit exchange hall, there were treasures everywhere. There were countless treasures of all kinds, all of which required merit points. As for merit points, the more, the better. The more, the better. Under the relentless search of the heavenly palace, those demons definitely could not hide. One by one, they were found and killed. Half a month later, when the last demon prodigy was killed, Lu Ming suddenly felt a force acting on him. In the next moment, his figure disappeared and reappeared in the void. Above them, there were 12 terrifying figures standing in the air, watching them. These 12 terrifying figures were, of course, the masters of the heavenly palace and the demons. Lu Ming glanced around and realized that many people had appeared around him. They were all geniuses from the heavenly palace. There was not a single demon here. Of course not. They were all killed by them. Ha ha ha, good. You all have done well this time around. We've all seen your performance. A laugh came from the sky. Many people were overjoyed. It was a great honor to be noticed by someone like the Lord of Heaven. You've already lost. Why don't you take your demon descendants and leave this place? Another Lord of Heaven said to the demon master of the demons. His voice boomed like thunder. Let's go. The demon master of the demons had nothing to say. His body moved, and his figure disappeared from the spot. The 6 demon masters disappeared without a trace. Not long after, the demon army began to retreat. You all did well, especially you. You're called Muyun, right? Another voice came from the sky. Lu Ming felt like 2 suns were staring at him. It was the gaze of a Lord of Heaven elite. To be honest, Lu Ming was still a little nervous facing an existence like the Lord of Heaven. After all, he had a taboo body. It would be a lie to say that he did not feel a little guilty. Yes, Lord of Heaven. Fortunately, Lu Ming's mind was extraordinary. He calmed his mind and cupped his fists. Very good, you've done well. This time, you'll be heavily rewarded. When we return to the City of Dreams, the Heavenly Palace will give you a corresponding reward. A Lord of Heaven said. The others were all envious. The Lord of Heaven had personally spoken, and there would be a heavy reward. This was definitely very shocking. Furthermore, to be praised by the Lord of Heaven was also a great honor. Thank you, Lord of Heaven. Lu Ming cupped his fists in gratitude once again. And you guys, we've all seen your performance. If you've done well, you'll naturally be rewarded. Later on, you'll all be heavily rewarded. The Lord of Heaven continued to speak. As soon as he finished speaking, he extended a hand and waved it. Lu Ming immediately felt the purple gold battle armor on his body fly out of his control and be put away by the Lord of Heaven. Not only him, but the battle armor of the battle god Yuan Wen, Ling Yu Wei, and the battle god Yuan Kong were also put away. These battle armors are not suitable for you to use for the time being, so I'll put them away first. Alright, all of you can disperse. After putting away the battle armor, the Lord of Heaven waved his hand and said. Lu Ming despised him in his heart. In the end, he couldn't even bear to give out these battle armors and even took them back. Lu Ming immediately lost all hope for the rest of the rewards. In addition, what made Lu Ming heave a sigh of relief was that fortunately, he was prepared and had already put away the taboo power in the battle armor, not leaving a single trace behind. Otherwise, it would be hard to guarantee that the Lord of Heaven would not discover it. Yes, Lord of Heaven. Everyone accepted the order and left one after another, returning to Nantian City. Lu Ming and the others still had a few years before they could return to the City of Dreams after 100 years. In the next few years, they didn't have anything to do, nor did they go out to hunt demons. They cultivated in peace in Nantian City. During this period of time, Lu Ming had improved very quickly. It was just nice to spend some time consolidating his cultivation realm. Several years passed in the blink of an eye. Lu Ming and the others had already been guarding Nantian City for 100 years. After completing their mission, they returned to the City of Dreams under the lead of several sky officials and returned to the Sky River camp outside the City of Dreams. In Lu Ming's residence, Lu Ming, Ling Yue, and Dandan began to divide up the demon spirit blood. "I'm so envious of you guys. You guys should have hunted a large number of demon geniuses." Dandan looked at Lu Ming and Ling Yue enviously. He was over the age limit and didn't participate in the competition. "How about I give you some?" Lu Ming said. "Really?" Dandan's eyes immediately lit up. "It's fake." Lu Ming smiled. "TSK, I knew it." Dandan said in a bad mood. "Huh, how about this, I'll give you those 2 drops of Demon Emperor's demon spirit blood." "Yue, you don't have any objections, right?" Lu Ming said. "Of course I don't have any objections." Ling Yue nodded. She had also hunted a lot of demon geniuses this time and had gained a lot. Moreover, before the battle with the demon geniuses, Dandan had contributed a lot when they were hunting demons for the first 90 years. Most of the time, they had relied on Dandan's formation to get through the difficulties and gain a lot. In the first 90 years, they had obtained a total of 2 drops of Demon Emperor Realm Demon Spirit blood. 1 drop was when they met a demon emperor who was heavily injured by an expert of the Buddha clan and was killed by the 3 of them together. The other drop came from when the demon army was attacking the city. Dandan used the formation to take advantage of the chaos. Chapter 4109. At least you guys have some conscience. I'll accept those 2 drops of Demon Emperor Realm Demon Spirit blood. Only then did Dandan smile and accept the 2 drops of Demon Emperor Realm Demon Spirit blood. Then, they divided the other demon spirit blood equally. Of course, the demon spirit blood of the demon geniuses that were hunted on the temporary planet was not divided equally. The demon spirit blood that was obtained in the first 90 years were divided equally. After dividing the demon spirit blood equally, the 3 of them were very satisfied. However, they did not immediately go to the Well of Merit to exchange for merit points. They had just returned from Nantian City. During this period of time, there would definitely be a lot of people going to the Well of Merit to exchange for merit points. Even if they went now, they would still have to line up and attract attention. They waited for more than 10 days before going to the Well of Merit together. "Look at how many merit points I have." As soon as he arrived at the Well of Merit, Dandan couldn't wait to rush up. Then, he took out all of his demon spirit blood and poured it into the Well of Merit. The Well of Merit immediately emitted a multicolored light. In the next moment, a row of words appeared. 1 2 3 3 2 3 4. Lu Ming and Ling Yue's eyes suddenly lit up. More than 1,000,000, Dandan's merit points had actually reached more than 1,000,000. This was truly a great harvest. Of course, 2 drops of Demon Emperor Realm demons naturally couldn't be worth so much demon spirit blood. There were also many 9th layer, 8th layer, and 7th layer demon spirit blood, which was why there were so many merit points. Ha ha ha. Dandan grinned, extremely excited. More than 1,000,000 merit points, how many treasures could he exchange for? Dandan had already begun to calculate in his heart. What treasure was he going to exchange for in the merit exchange hall? That line of words flew into Dandan's identity jade tablet and disappeared. The jade tablet flew back into Dandan's hand. "It's your turn." Dandan retreated, the smile on his face never disappearing. He looked at Lu Ming and Ling Yue with a face full of smiles, meaning that it was your turn to see how many merit points you had. Let me do it, you're last. Ling Yue said to Lu Ming. She knew that Lu Ming was the most, so she left Lu Ming at the end. She went to the well of merit, took out all her merit points, and poured them into the well of merit. Suddenly, the well of merit was filled with multicolored light. The intensity of the multicolored light was even greater than that of Dandan. The next moment, a row of numbers appeared. 1809,897. So many? Dandan's eyes widened in surprise, a look of astonishment on her face. That was more than 1.8 million merit points. Ling Yue didn't have the demon spirit blood of a demon emperor realm demon, but she actually had so many merit points, more than 600,000 merit points than Dandan. You. How many devil sky prides have you killed in the temporary planet? Dandan was tongue-tied as he looked at Ling Yue. I don't have a lot, but he does. Ling Yue said as she looked at Lu Ming. Ling Yue was quite satisfied with the merit points she had obtained. On the temporary planet, she had obtained the silver armor. In the final battle, she had killed a large number of devil sky prides. Even the devil sky prides that were comparable to Dong Yuanqing and Bunan had been killed by her. In addition to the demon spirit blood of the other devil sky prides, as well as the demon spirit blood that she had accumulated over the past 90 years, she had obtained so many merit points. However, she knew that Lu Ming had a lot more than her. One had to know that almost all the top devil sky prides had died at the hands of Lu Ming. Especially Eugene. This kind of person could fight across 5 levels. His potential was too strong. Who knew how many merit points he could exchange for? Ling Yue put away her identity jade tablet and retreated, looking at Lu Ming expectantly. Mu Yun, you killed more? Then hurry up and go. Let me see how many merit points you can get. Dandan urged. Lu Ming nodded. To be honest, after seeing Ling Yue's merit points, he himself was somewhat looking forward to it. Arriving at the well of merit, Lu Ming poured all the demon spirit blood into the well of merit in one go. Wang! In the next moment, a pillar of light erupted from the well of merit. It was many times stronger than the light that Dandan and Ling Yue had caused. Even the powerhouses guarding the well of merit were alarmed and looked over curiously. What a strong multicolored light! To be able to cause such a huge reaction from the well of merit, how many merit points did this little guy obtain? Looking at his cultivation, he's only at the 5th level of the Divine Emperor realm. It's rare for a second-class heavenly soldier to be able to cause such a huge reaction from the well of merit. In the dark, a few experts guarding the well of merit were communicating with each other. They were all rather surprised. Dandan and Ling Yue also widened their eyes and stared at the sky above the well of merit. Then, a line of numbers appeared. 895673. This, Dandan was stunned. His eyes widened with all his might, and he looked like he was in a daze. More than 8.9 million? Could it be that my eyes are playing tricks on me? Did I misread the number of words? Dandan rubbed his eyes with all his might and stared fixedly. In the end, he was sure that what he saw was really more than 8 million. Then, Dandan was completely petrified. So much. Even though Ling Yue was mentally prepared, she was still shocked. A total of more than 8.9 million, 5 times more than the merit points she had obtained. This was an astonishing number. Nest, how do you have so many merit points? How many devil geniuses have you killed? After Lu Ming put away his identity jade tablet, Dandan finally reacted and shouted excitedly. It's all right. It's mainly because I've killed a lot of top devil geniuses. Almost all of the top devil geniuses that participated in that competition were killed by me. There's also a devil genius that can fight across 5 levels. Lu Ming said casually. F***ck, Danden's eyes almost popped out. A devil genius that could cross 5 levels, no wonder he could obtain so many merit points. The merit points that such a genius could exchange for far exceeded the merit points that a devil emperor could exchange for. Unless it was a high-level devil emperor. If I had known that you had killed so many devil geniuses, would have taken some from you no matter what. Danden screamed miserably, beating his chest and stamping his feet in regret. Merit points couldn't be traded. They could only be used by oneself. This little guy, even the experts guarding the merit points were somewhat stunned. More than 9 million was truly terrifying. One had to know that some divine generals couldn't even exchange for so many merit points at once. They had guarded this place for countless years, and such a situation was extremely rare. Not bad, Lu Ming revealed a smile. He was very satisfied with this harvest. With so many merit points, how many treasures could he exchange for? He picked up the merit points and scanned them with his spiritual sense. He discovered that the number inside the merit points had changed. Originally, the number was 123567/67. Now, it had become 9080290/895670. Lu Ming's total merit points had reached more than 9 million. He was less than 1 million points away from reaching the standard of a divine general. This was an extremely shocking harvest. You're tuning into the Xiaofan's Wuxia Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.